So
So I suppose, you probably look at the stuff, don't you, for your movement, what I'm doing as well.
Yeah, it's like
a lot of that is what you're doing.
Well, it's everything crosses over, so we'll start with this. So yeah, the way I kind of figure it is everything just complements each other.
Mm-hmm.
So rather than just being tied into I'm a powerlifter or I don't know, I'm an arielist or I'm a Cali guy, it's like, well, why not a bit of everything?
Mm-hmm.
If you're a Cali guy, probably do some weights here and there. If you're a guy who does powerlifting, you should
I
definitely do
use
some Cali.
calisthenics with my PT clients who are also aerialists, because obviously half the stuff you do in aerial is lifting your own body weight, holding your shape in the air. So yeah, that crosses over. And then obviously the people that are struggling to hold the body weight is, all right, let's get a little bit of strength going, a little bit of flexibility. Let's see what the restrictions are. Let's strengthen those once they're released. I even use self-release techniques that you've shown me with foam rollers and balls to help as well. So it all crosses over.
Yeah, I think people are starting to see the value in it more and more. I see more people talking about it because it's like foam rollers got really popular.
Yeah.
And then they got really like out of favour. Oh, it's not doing anything. It can't influence the fascia. It can't actually help. And you're like, well, hang on a minute. How are you using it?
Yeah.
And like, how long are you using it for? And how many days are you doing it in a row?
Yeah.
Like, if you just do 5 minutes half-hearted and you stop when it hurts you, then you're not going to get anywhere with it.
I've found as well having to be the right level of warm as well working. I've seen a lot of people use foam roller cold, and it's like, well, your muscles aren't really moving yet, the fascia's not moving yet.
No, temperature makes a difference. It's like it's harder now. So in summer it was quite good.
So good in summer.
Because I could so something I've also played around with is, as well as using foam rolls and stuff, I've actually used I'll use like pillows and I'll use like foam balls.
Oh, that's good.
And I'll relax into it. So really tight spots. It's just enough to give a bit of feedback and what you're actually doing, because that's a lot of what we're doing with a lot of techniques, like what I do. Yes, there's some physiological things, but a lot of it's neurological.
Yeah.
So a lot of it's like I always say, someone's shoulder doesn't move, and then I release it and it moves in one session. Yeah, how much of that was not in the head, but how much of it was a neurological adaptation? Yeah. So how much of it was the body just shutting that area down?
And we do talk a lot about this in aerial with flexibility as well, because obviously we have to be strong and flexible at the same time, which there's that argument, isn't there, if you're going to be strong, lose flexibility, and vice versa, that can happen. So we talk a lot about things like, what's the word called? The way the body will spasm in kind of response to
fascillations.
Yes, we talk quite a lot about that and how we've got to relax and breathe into a lot of stretches. Things like nerve glides, nerve floss is really good to tell your body those signals of this isn't dangerous. Because I know a lot of my kind of flexibility injuries have always been that I've gone stretched too quickly, too much. My body just shuts down and starts to spasm. So I found talking about that and doing a lot of those techniques with my students and clients has just helped them with flexibility as well. Especially, I guess, ours is more tailored towards aerial, which is a very different type of strength in the air. But it goes back to that calisthenics.
Yeah, but I sort of feel like, so if you're going to be a super strong, like, powerlifter, for example, then you are going to have to sort of sacrifice some ability. But I'm kind of like, well, how much? Yeah. Because there's a lifter called Klokoff, and he's ridiculously flexible and ridiculously strong, and he's an Olympic lifter. And there is examples of guys out there who are both. Yeah. And that's where I'm kind of at now. I'm like, well, can I not be both? Can I not be, like, flexible and strong? And it just seems to me that the issue is, it's like stronger guys find it harder, especially once they've got strong. Yeah. And it's because they've got that horsepower.
You've got a lot more restriction at that point, haven't you? A lot more build up.
Well, the bones get thicker, the tendons get thicker, the muscles everything gets denser. Yeah. Like the entire body. Plus you've got all this horsepower and the body doesn't know what to do with it. Yeah. So all of a sudden you can't take your leg out there because you'll blow something if you do. So I always say the same thing. You've got to teach the body. So what you're talking about is you've got to teach the body it's safe. Yeah. It's safe to let go of this tension.
I think we call it the stretch reflux. I think it's what we call it specifically in aerial, is or the anti-stretch reflux. We're trying not to tell the body that is painful or restrictive.
Or dangerous.
There are. I've known people that have just gone too far and just completely popped their knee out, or hips are one that we tend to get a lot in aerial. Hips and shoulders. Specifically, I know I've torn my own shoulder just pulling up too quickly and not teaching my shoulder. that it's safe to do those movements. Definitely an area we see a lot more shoulders, hips, surprisingly knees, but that comes from splits training. A lot of people are doing their knees in, doing split training incorrectly. But again, it goes back to that, the body isn't ready for it, the body's not relaxed enough to do that. We've not taught it how to do those fundamentals.
So you're a good person to ask about this. So I have this kind of theory that sometimes as well with like people who do a lot of yoga, is they actually become almost too passive.
Yeah.
So they like just spend loads of time in a position until the body finally submits.
Yeah.
And they almost create range that they're not equipped to deal with.
Yeah, I've definitely noticed that more, specifically in my sport as well, is that people doing too much necessary stretching in yoga, you're right, they go to that passive stretching. So for us, we in the air have to really focus on active flexibility and how we can teach our body to do that, obviously on demand, without relying too much on passive. Because I've noticed quite a lot of people who do passive will flare their hips out more, they'll pop their body in slightly unnatural positions, which you can see they can't sustain as well when you start doing the active flexibility. The active flexibility is usually really crap at that point. But the passive, they can do the splits on the floor, put them in the air, suddenly you can see that there's no stability, there's no strength. Again, I can only go with what I see with aerial, but you do see a lot of people lend into their passive flexibility way more than active. Quite a lot of people are doing splits in the air, for example. You can see those little structures like trying to fight against them. You can see, you can almost see the body tries to fight against it quite a lot.
Yeah, because I've met people who are extremely flexible, but they have a lot of pain.
Yeah.
And they've actually got tight muscles.
I find
even though they're super flexible, like the quads are dead tight.
I mean, I find I've got quite a lot of people that I know that are super flexible, but they've also battling with hypermobility. So there is that kind of biological element of it as well. Is for those people that I've got that I train and I coach, is yes, they do lots of stretching, they're naturally very flexible, but what we have to hone back onto is protecting them long term. Because I find quite a lot of these people will complain of hip pain, they'll complain of back pain, it's a lot one that comes with hips, because their body can't hold that position correctly for that long. They can't do it on demand the same way that if you're training the active flexibility, your body's prepared for all of those eventualities.
Yeah, I've just seen tight quads seem to be a thing, and I think it's from getting in those split positions.
Yes.
And it's like they get in that split position, but this quad just shortens down. It's like the hip moves to accommodate it. And then the boys just got this.
And then I always notice at that point, they'll start to get tired and they'll start to turn their hips into like almost a twist, which makes them look splittier, but actually their body's then compensating on the twists. Then obviously the QLs are starting. And then suddenly I'm looking at the body and it's like, okay, so that's going and that's going and that's going and that's going for one thing. And it's for us to kind of look and go, right, we've got to correct that now and get you back to normal.
And there's just, I guess you see a lot of people who almost get funny about that. So like someone like me, I look at like, people how they move and everything. And you can get a bit too particular with it. But it's just, I see the consequences of it all the time.
Yeah.
I see the consequence of a dude who had a knee operation and 5 years later he's got back problems and shoulder problems. Yeah, and I see it all the time. I'm sure you do as well when you're fixing people and stuff.
Oh, I get it on myself. And there's certain, when I know that for example, obviously I've got my hip tear, I definitely know, because I'm trying to protect my hip a lot more, I'm obviously working more quads, more hamstrings, more psoas, more deep core. But then if I'm focusing too much on that, then my back might be going a little bit more, or my shoulders might be suffering because I'm not training them correctly. And I've noticed it can be, when my hip was really bad, I got a lot of shoulder pain because I'm sitting my body in a natural way to try and prevent that pain in the hip. So I've noticed it definitely on myself, but more so in clients as well. You'll notice I always say to them, I get a lot of knee complaints from people, which I think you've always had as well, which goes back to people sitting. Quite a lot of the people I work with are desk workers. And now I'm noticing, you're probably seeing a lot more, especially with the rehab, is sitting in that position for so long is just so unnatural for your body.
Yeah, but standing for long periods and not moving can do the same. And what I see is the consequence of people, like, you're a bit different because you guys are encouraging more movement.
Yeah.
But what I see is a lot of people who lift. Now, CrossFit in here is different. Again, it's cool to be here because they observe it. And that is a bit more complete because that's how it started. A few dudes got together and went, right, people who are strong aren't fit, people who are fit aren't strong.
Yeah.
Let's put that together.
Let's cross them over.
And let's put some skipping in, let's put some bar work. And I just tried to tell you about it the other day and I just said, it's like, but we're at this point now where it's existed for a while.
Yeah.
And it's another thing to analyse for me. I'm like, okay, it seems to hit a lot of things, but
what is it causing?
But what else is? So what's it missing? Because it will be missing stuff. Everything is. Yeah. You know, that's the whole point. That's why I'm saying it's cool to talk to people like you. It's cool to talk to powerlifters. It's cool to talk to everyone because I believe everyone's got a piece, and I think that's why I'm curious, like about what we've just been talking about. So I'm like, oh, what are you seeing? You know what I mean? What are you noticing in the guys you work with? Yeah. Because like you said, knee problems are a big one. Sitting seems to be a big issue. It's like, well, what can we do to combat that? Because it's an issue I see a lot, and a lot of other trainers see. The only movement people do is when they come to the gym.
Yeah. I'm also seeing with people that are sitting more, especially in the aerial world, is we're having to spend longer training their shoulders, longer training their back muscles. In particular, people's pecs are shorter because they're obviously hunched. A lot of them are hunched over desks or hunched over their work. And that's had a knock-on effect because when we start doing very flexible moves in the shoulder, their shoulders just don't seem to be developed in the same way that, say, people that are training it constantly are. So that's definitely like a big challenge in our sport, is taking obviously desk workers, people that are sitting, and people that are standing have the opposite problem. Yeah. Their muscles are almost shorter in the different ways.
Yeah.
And that's really challenging because people are physically strong enough to do things, but that flexibility and restriction of the shoulder is actually stopping them from doing it. And I'd see a lot more of my students who are people sitting down, or people that aren't, that are only coming to my classes once a week to train. I am seeing that they're the ones that pull the shoulders out more than anyone else because they're not getting that same all-rounded training that they would do if they were doing a little bit every day. Try and encourage people to do a bit of movement every day.
That's, it's kind of what we discuss at uni a lot, because when we discuss the exercise psychology side of things, it's about calling it like physical activity rather than exercise. Yeah. It's about I don't even think physical, I think just activity, because I don't think people realise the value of just moving more. Like I always say to people, like I have things in my bag, like I have a band, I have a ball. And it's my job, but it's because a lot of people, I get stiff if I'm treated.
I quite often just carry my massage gun in my bag around. I'll just be out and like, oh right, got tightness there, tightness there.
And I'll be at lectures.
Can stretch it.
Yeah, like lectures the other day, and I was like, because I'm in 3 lectures on a Monday. We sit there talking about the benefits of moving for psychology and all that, and then we don't move. So I'm like stretching, while I'm sat there, and like one of the guys commented on it, and he probably just thinks I'm a lunatic who can't sit still. But I'm like, I'm quite relaxed now. It depends on my day, depends what I've been doing, But you start moving, and like I think, well, no, I just don't want to seize up.
I found the worst time for me for seizing up was when I was on holiday to see my mum in Canada, and I mean, she'll probably say I just got twitchy after 5 days and went and booked an aerial session somewhere. Because my body was seizing, like I could feel, because I'm constantly doing stuff, I'm constantly moving, I'm constantly adapting my body to my sport. Then not doing my sport and having 2 weeks off, my body was starting to curl in, it was starting to shorten, and I was finding that I was having to get up and just walk around and pace just to tell my body, like, we need to move, we need to be physical, we need to do something. So it is mad how, depending on your sport, depends on kind of how your body will relax as well. Because I find that all my muscles were stiffening just from having 2-3 days off. I was starting to slow up a lot more.
It's kind of why I'm trying to vary everything more now.
Yeah.
Like I'm running more. I try and do more movements, but still naturally. Especially again if you've trained and you do something that requires you to use your muscles. There seems to be this natural thing that happens where you do just kind of go dump. And you're locked up, and it takes a little bit.
And you seize them.
Yeah, and I can only talk for myself because obviously I spent a long time lifting, and I got a lot of adaptations because of it. But it's hard. It's like it's getting better.
Yeah.
But I've had to work at it so much just to get my body to feel like I feel like it should. And I'm now at the point where I'm trying to push well beyond where I was before, which is cool. Yeah. But you're sort of like, man, I've wrecked my body here.
I'm finding that with aerial now. I'm getting to the point where I'm noticing if I'm not doing the right trainings now. I'm noticing when I was a bit younger, I was like, go, 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 go. Yeah, let's do the coolest trick. Let's do the coolest split, the coolest dynamic. And now I'm getting a bit older. My body is starting to fight back against that. And it's a little bit like, okay, well, your back hurts a little bit more. So then in my mind, I'm thinking, right, I need to adapt my training to that now because I don't want to have a slip disc in 2, 3, 4 years.
Yeah.
So I'm definitely, and I'm seeing it in my students as well, that I'm starting to adapt again to temperature. Since the temperature's dropped, I've started doing what we call a winter warm-up, which is a lot more flexibility, a lot more pulse raising, a lot more cardio, a lot more trying to get everything warm. But I've noticed as I'm getting older and probably more experienced in my field, I'm noticing the value of doing like a longer, more rounded warm-up. So we'll focus on a little bit of pulse raising, get everyone nice and warm, a little bit of stretching. And then we start to go all the way from top to bottom, including things like core warmers, including things like lots of active flexibility, just to try and encourage that all-rounded training in our sport. Especially when you start to specialise more in aerial. I will adapt my warm-up based on it being hoop or silks, because obviously silk and hoops is 2 completely different sports in a sense. Whereas hoops are a lot more overhang, silks is a lot more pulling and more down of my lats as well. So I've even noticed down to the warming and trainings of different disciplines requires a different targeted approach as well now. Just based on like what my own body's feeding back as well. Like my own body's definitely saying, do you know what? You've not took enough care with your core. You're not my back's starting to go a bit more. So now as I'm getting older, more experience, just trying to adapt to the needs of the sport, needs to my body, needs of my students as well.
Well, at least it sounds like you have. It sounds like your knowledge has increased a lot since last time. You just tell the words you're using and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But so I made this comment the other day. And I'm just something I've been thinking about because I've got to a point where I spend a good few hours in here, like, in a current gym. I'm here for a bit and I'm figuring some stuff out. I'm training, but I'm working. I'm doing videos for like online clients. It's fun. And I really enjoy it. I enjoy figuring stuff out. I enjoy trying stuff. I'm researching outside of this, like both formally and just sort of on Instagram, and I follow different people.
Yeah.
And I spend so much time, and I always have, but even more so now, especially now I'm not caught up with running a place.
Yeah.
So my mind's like a lot more free. I'm a lot more creative. Yeah. I'm able to be more artistic in it, which sounds mental talking about training, but I've heard it said many times by other people, like Mert Bell said in a podcast the other day, it's art. That's what training and movement is, and your body is art.
Yeah. And everybody's body's moving different ways as well. Like my body moves a completely different way to your body.
Yeah.
Your strengths are different to my strengths. So again, everybody's bodies are a type of art.
And you've also got all the things that have happened to you. It's a unique story. It's a unique problem.
You got the psychological elements of it as well, like
which is definitely tied up to this.
Yeah.
I'll talk about that a bit if you want to. But my point was, and the vibe I'm getting from you is, it's like, well, you get people, what are you in the gym so early for? It's like, well, I've got 3 kids for a start, so I have to find time. I run my own business. I'm studying a master's, so I have to get there early. Yeah. I've got work to do, but also it's my work.
Yeah.
Would you not want to come and see a professional who is a professional, who is spending hours upon hours, a day, a week, a month, a year, figuring this stuff out? Because that's who I am, and that's what I'm intending to be as good as I can possibly be.
That's what it's like in aerial for me now. Like I remember you knew when I just started it. Like you've watched me go all the way from being a little student all the way up to, now I'm doing competitions and train other people to compete and do routines and be professional. And I don't think people see the hours that go into it, of that preparation, that training, that working out how the body moves, specifically for me around the equipment. How can you move that body artistically around it as well? Because that side of it is, you've got the strength at play, you've got the flexibility, you've got that as well. But people don't see all of the hours and sacrifices as well. I think a good example of sacrifice is I've had to miss birthday parties because I'm working at a festival teaching people it, which happened this year. or I'm having to give up bank holiday weekend. Everyone's going out and seeing each other. I'm competing at a national tournament. So you see that, but also I sacrifice a lot of time with my partner as well, a lot of time. I think he's the one that suffers the most because when he's at home, I'm here and vice versa. If I'm performing or I'm doing showcases, again, if he's not there, that's sacrificing a lot of time with him and a lot of commitment there. And he's very good, and my friends are very good, and I've got the right social circle, I think, to help with that. But that, because I'm putting so many hours alongside it, that's with experience, with training, different ways of adapting to different people as well, because I'm fully aware that, as we said before, bodies are really different. Everyone's very different. But I watched you with the gym and all of that sacrifice as well when you were a gym owner.
It's just, I mean, it's part of it.
It's hours into our profession, isn't it?
Yeah, that's what, again, but people don't see that.
It's a life commitment, I think, what we're doing, or a lifestyle.
It is.
It's a type of way.
It's for some people. It is for, like we're talking about. That's what I mean. I get that from you, and the other people I tend to talk to, and the coaches I have links with. That's the vibe I get off them. Yeah. They're obsessed.
Yeah.
And I feel good around people like that because it makes me feel less mental.
That hyper focus.
Yeah, because otherwise I feel mental when I'm around uninspired people. Like, and I don't mean that disrespectfully, but I do. I feel like you feel like my brain's just compared to everyone else's.
You feel like you're the weird one.
Yeah.
When they're like, oh, what, you go to the gym 6-7 times a week? It's like, yeah.
But it's again,
you don't.
Yeah, but it's like, again, people, it's like, oh, you're so long. Yeah, it's my job. I'm doing stuff. I'm figuring stuff out. But yeah, my point is, they're like, there's a lot of people. There's people like that, but there's a lot of people in this industry who aren't. There's a lot of people in this industry who thought it'd be fun. No, I don't even know why. I don't even know why some people do
thought it was going to be £50 an hour and glamorous.
Yeah, I don't know what it is because it doesn't pay. It's very hard.
The pay's shit. For what the hours you put in, the pay's not great.
I've managed, like, I've worked out, but like to up my value, I went to do a degree. I've done extra training courses.
You've had to do a lot of free sessions, a lot of free clients.
Oh yeah. Like I did 6 months free when I started. Yeah. Like just because I recognise that I can't just start charging people. I have no idea what I'm doing. Yeah,
it's where you've got to put the price up. You're like,
but I was training, and like I was helping my training partners at MMA and stuff with diet and things. But it's one thing going, you should try this, to coaching someone. Yeah. And like, so that's the thing. But I think there's still a lot of trainers who, in my opinion, aren't professionals. Yeah. They just, like, I was trying to do about it the other day. It's like the amount of times, like, I don't know, like PTs always end up teaching classes. Like I used to, it's what you end up doing. Now, the ones I wanted to do, I was so passionate about. Yeah. But after a bit, like when it was ones that I felt like I was just covering for other people, you're not passionate about it. Yeah. And it shows.
You don't put 100% into it.
No, it's like even for me at my own place, when it got to the evenings, I just didn't have. I'd been at the gym at 5 a.m. I'd trained. I'd done PTs. I'd gone to uni. Yeah. We've had a lot of personal stuff going on at the same time. And then I get to the gym and I've got to do an evening session, and I'm just like, I cannot be arsed being here, like in the slightest. And it's not.
But you're also sore and tired as well. Yeah, but your own training.
But they're paying for us, and it's. Yeah. But what they're paying me is not worth my time, and that's not me being disrespectful for them. But when I added up the math of like the evening sessions, for example, I'm like, I might as well just do more PTs. Yeah. I enjoy them more anyway. And it's like, it's no disrespect for them people. It's just, this doesn't suit me and my time of day, and I shouldn't do this anymore because this isn't fair to them, because I'm not me, and I do everything I could to be, but
as if you can't give them 100%. Yeah. Is that feeling a failure from your side? Or?
I didn't like it, and I just was like, I've got to stop this.
And 9 times out of 10, they come into the class for you, in your knowledge and your expertise. And if you can't give that 100%, then
and then you try and get other people doing it, and they never worked out. And
I've definitely had that with some of my classes, obviously, that I've been teaching. And I'm getting to the point now, I'm like, if a class doesn't feel like I can give my all anymore, or it feels like it's a class that, maybe a few people come and you're like, well, I'll do it for them, then I'll just take it off the timetable. I'll speak to my head instructor and be like, look, my passion's not there anymore. Their passion's not there anymore. They're feeding off me. I'm feeding off them. And I found now just saying when things aren't working is so much better for my mental health.
Yeah.
Especially when you're. I mean, I sacrifice a lot of hours to teach classes of my own training. And I'll just, anything that's not working for me now, I'm just confident enough to say I'm going to take it off and give myself that time back, or try and move things so that things are easier. Like I've noticed recently, I can be at the gym sometimes Monday to Friday, and then maybe Saturday, and then maybe Sunday if I've got performance. And I'm now trying to slot my schedule. It's like, okay, can I move that to there and have an extra day off there? And can I move that client there? And I'm starting to actually schedule slightly longer days rather than sporadic every day.
Yeah.
It's been like that for a while, so
it's the nature of the business.
Yeah, you go, oh, it's all right, just do another day, and then it's suddenly you're 6 days in, and you've realised you're not had a day off for 14 days.
Yeah, I do it now. Like I definitely do it. I look at my diary at the beginning of the week, and it's like one of my evenings is still free.
Yeah.
But I'll just be like, well, can I slot some more people into these other spaces? Can I do a Saturday morning instead? Yeah, I'll just do something. Yeah. I'll have that evening off.
I've got a lot stricter now with my time off because I'm seeing the value in having my time off. So I always have a Saturday off now, always. Unless it's a performance, which is performance works slightly different. But when it's my regular work, Saturdays is my committed day off. That's it. There's no negotiating that. And also Mondays, I'm like, they are my set day off, because I just see the value in taking that time off as well. So I found when I was working 6 days a week, sometimes 7 days a week, I was just grumpy. Like I didn't want to really be there. I didn't want to train. I didn't want to train myself, let alone other people, because I was just working constantly. Whereas I found by bringing the workload down and pushing it into like a tailored schedule, I'm a lot happier. A lot happier. And you'll probably find that as well, like keeping everything together in a way.
Yeah, it's just, again, I get free to be creative.
Yeah.
That's what
you find with that day off, you're like, well, do you know what? I'm just going to play with that idea.
Yeah, that's what I mean. If I'm here, it's on my terms. It's not like, I've got work to do.
It's not like a cage for you.
Yeah, it doesn't feel like that. It has, I've not done a proper job for years, but again, going from having the gym and stuff like that. So don't get me wrong, it's like classes, they are an opportunity, like especially when you're a PT starting out, they're a good opportunity to sell yourself, they're a good opportunity to get clients.
I've got a lot of my clients through classes.
But you should be passionate about doing them.
Yeah.
And this was me and this other trainer were talking about it, and that was our point. The point is, a lot of people, they're just a hindrance.
Yeah.
They're not passionate about doing it, and I hate to say it, but you do see PTs who aren't passionate about training people as well. Yeah. Or you talk to them. I see a lot of PTs, and I talk to a lot of them, and you get some who the love just doesn't seem to be there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? The passion to know more, to keep developing, to keep learning. Like what I get from you, I don't always get from PTs when I talk to them, and I don't really understand why they're doing it.
Yeah, I don't get that.
But it's like it's just become another job. Yeah. You know what I mean? And
it's become like Tesco's, Tesco's Wetherspoons.
And it does, and it becomes that, and it's like they lose the passion, and maybe it's to get if you tie yourself into one particular thing, maybe that does it. If you haven't got enough variety, like you obviously have a lot of variety within yours. I'm same. I like variety. I always have.
I think I would get bored of the same thing, and I do wonder if some of those people are stuck doing the same thing constantly, but. Again, are they not being creative because they're stuck in what they're doing?
Oh, they're scared. They're scared
to be different.
They're scared to... there's a lot of trainers...
Scared to expand.
Yeah, and there's lots of trainers over the years who've maybe... you get trainers who call out new things. They call out fads. They call out things that aren't what they're doing. And they kind of close themselves off from it. And then all of a sudden they're just this small... person who's never grown, and the world's grown around them. I would feel
so worried as a trainer to stop learning. I feel like you're never going to stop learning.
Yeah, you could view it as a thing. Well, I've done the same things for 10 years, and it's like, okay, but have you not modified? Have you not adapted? A little bit?
Are you not interested in the other world?
Have you not developed deeper principles? Have you not developed better ones? Have you not maybe there's some stuff that you now regret doing? Because I do loads of stuff. Loads. There's loads of stuff I'm like, I won't do that. I won't do that. Wish I'd done more of this. Yeah. Should have done it this way.
Yeah.
Like I said, I've worked out of a few gyms just as a fly on the wall now. And, and you sort of see I made that mistake. Yeah. Oh, I shouldn't have done that. Oh, I was doing that. Oh, I should have done more of that, what they're doing. like especially here, Terry's done a cracking job, so I get to go, oh, he's done this right.
Yeah.
You know, but my point is, like, there's like, yeah, you're always getting better. You should be.
Yeah.
You should always be trying to learn.
It always worries me more when you get to that stale point of, okay, that's it now, I'm content. I don't know if that's because I've always been a bit of an overachiever. I've always been someone that's like, right, got the goal, next goal. But I've always encouraged with my students, obviously, I'm not going to know everything. I can't know everything. It's impossible to be able to do absolutely everything. But I'm a big encourager of go to different studios or different gyms, go to different trainers, get a rounded experience, which is something you encouraged in me a lot of the time. Was like you used to do it. I saw you going to different powerlifter there and a powerlifter there. And you might have gone to a seminar, or you've gone to do a degree in rehab. And I encourage that in my students, especially in the aerial world. I'm like, go and try that instructor at that studio there, or have a little go at that workshop over there, because they come back and they're more rounded, they've got more experiences, and sometimes they'll bring things back that I didn't even think of. I do it now. I like going back as a student, so I've got a regular coach now at Cloud who coaches me in silts, because I got to a point as a coach and a student and went, I don't know how to do anything more on my own without, one, injury, or two, just doing the same moves over and over and over again. And I was like, I needed variety. Again, I don't know if that's just like I get bored easily. So I was like, right, I need to go and find someone that knows how to do the big free stack drops, who knows how to do a big backflip in the air. And I encourage that in my students now. I'm very much like, go and get different experiences. Because I'm not going to know everything. I'm not going to be able to teach them everything that they need to learn for that sport. I think they need to go to someone else who can give them different bits of it, and then they'll get an all-rounded training. That's why I do it myself as well. But I've seen you do that, go to different people and get different experiences.
Yeah, but many can't.
Yeah. And I've been to some people that I'm like, I don't want to do this again.
I learned that early through coaches.
Yeah.
And it's because I was in martial arts, and in martial arts, Bruce Lee comes along, and I love his philosophy, and his philosophy was, absorb what's useful, discard what's useless, and make what's left uniquely your own.
Yeah.
That's what you do. And that's what you do in training, it's what you do in martial arts. Yeah. And then you're seeing this old school mentality, because it used to be in martial arts, no one shared anything, everyone was against each other. But that still exists. There's still a lot of coaches who don't like their guys going to, they don't like them going to other places. Yeah. Like, I was one of them. I was like, well, I really suck at Thai boxing, so I should go to, like, the specialist Thai boxers. That's all they do. That makes sense to me. Some people don't like that. Some coaches don't like it.
You still get that in the aerial world as well. You'll get a lot of studios that will be like, oh, you can't go there and train there, or you're no longer welcome at the studio anymore. Like, it happens. It still happens. I think it happens in all sports. There is always going to be a gatekeeping community. And then there are other studios that encourage you to go to other places and bring that knowledge with you. I know I get a lot of students that I have that will go, oh, I'm really sorry, I've gone to such and such a person's class, or I've gone to this student. I'm like, great, go for it. Go and get some more knowledge. Like, feed that back. Like, let me know what you've learned. And I think some of my students have that mentality, which, again, it's very old school. It's very ingrained of you keep everything to yourself. And we've always been a big thing of sharing, and knowledge should be shared, experience should be shared. So yeah, I see the value. I see the value in sharing.
Yeah, again,
gatekeeper's horrible.
Yeah, but you see it. You see so many trainers involved in it. So many, like I said, martial artists who are just people that they don't like to share their people, and it's like they get defensive about them. And it's like if it upsets you when you go on social media because maybe your client or your one of the guys you're training, your students has gone somewhere else. It's like, it's your problem, not theirs.
Yeah, it's just more about you than them.
Yeah, and I get it. I do get it. But like I always say, like, people go on about, we talk about diets, we talk about training programs, and what a lot of trainers try to do is, they've learned some lessons, and they think they've learned it all. We all do. Oh, I've learned. They don't realise they've got a lot more mistakes to make. But
we're all going to make mistakes.
Yeah, but I'm making them right now because it's just how it is. It's just how it is. Yeah, you've just got to do the best you can for the best.
And you learn from mistakes.
You do it to the best of your understanding. You try and just be a good person, whatever. But the point is, Yeah, there's like, so they think they've got stuff figured out, so they try and figure it out for their clients.
Yeah.
So they try and go, this is the diet to follow.
Yeah.
This is the training plan to follow.
But they don't ask for advice from anybody else either.
Yeah, they don't go like, well, you know what, like, if you think, they basically say, don't do that, don't do this as well. You see a lot of that. I see a lot of people who seem to want to spend the time calling what others are doing and telling people, don't do this diet because it's dangerous, don't do this one because it's super restrictive. And it's like, let them figure it out for themselves. You know what? Guide them. Yeah. Guide them. And you know what? Like, and what I do notice as well, a lot of trainers are afraid to, and coaching and stuff, they're afraid to. Sometimes I think they're afraid to stand for something.
Yeah.
So they hide behind what's popular, or they hide behind being in the middle of the road, or they hide behind the research, which is always flawed, which always changes.
Yeah.
So it's
like constantly
develop. But they don't. So they stand there and pretend they're standing for something.
Yeah.
When they're not really, and it's like they don't try stuff either. Yeah. Like I was in one of them. What, a diet where all you eat's meat? I'll try that.
Yeah.
Why the fuck not?
You've tried all sorts.
Yeah, why wouldn't you? Because, and then you go, I feel fucking great doing this. And then you learn stuff about autoimmune disorders, you learn stuff about yourself, and then you go, oh, can I modify this? Because I've tried that. But you know what? This diet from here would complement this.
Yeah.
And like, what I do now is it's almost like a modified carnivore with carb cycling, with ketogenic, with fasting, with, like, you know what I mean? Yeah. It becomes a hybrid. And it's like, that's how it should be, but it also should be, that's how it is for everyone.
Yeah.
It should be, here's a guide. Like, I just sent out a guide to a lot of my clients, and it is very much, literally, if you do nothing else, do this one thing.
Yeah.
That's the first bit
You're
of
there
it.
to guide them and say, look, try this. If it doesn't work, come back and let's look at something else. Let's look why it didn't work.
But also just try it. So try this one thing, and that one thing, it doesn't change that much of the diet, but it might change a lot.
Yeah.
And then they might go, ooh, I might change this thing.
Yeah.
Oh, I might try this.
You're basically there to give that advice.
Same with training plans. Yeah. Same with, like, and that's my point. My point is, you need to just let people try shit.
Yeah.
You can't, again, like you said, be a gatekeeper.
Yeah.
I'm going to shield them from all this disinformation and all these dangers.
It's like, let them try.
No, let them come to you and ask about it. And
let them try it safely with you.
Yeah, but let them ask about it, but then make sure that you are you're an expert. Not an expert in it, but you have knowledge of it.
Yeah.
And that's my point as well. So this way you should keep
learning.
For me,
it's very much laying out to them, like, here's the pros and cons of it. You can try this. This might happen. This is the risk you may take if we do this. This could happen here. Also, we might do this way. I'm very much as well. I've had a couple of my clients like, oh, do you not do 6-week training plans or 8 weeks? And I'm like, no. I was like, because somebody might be wanting to lift heavy in 6 weeks' time, but can't get past week 3. I'm very much, with me, adapting all the time to needs of my clients. Like, you never, I think, when I was training, you did it week by week, session by session. Because you might set me a plan that's like, all right, in 4 weeks, you're going to do your max lift. Yeah. I might be like free period then. I might not want to lift a single feather. I might have not eaten right. I might not do all those things. So I think being adaptive is something that coaches need to be.
It's like you need a framework. Like, I always run off a framework, but it was a very loose framework.
Yeah, I'm very much.
And it was very, like,
I mean, I've learned from you, so I'm probably very similar to you.
It was very intuitive, and it's very, like, reacting to the needs of the client and reacting to where they are. And I would just take into account what they'd done in the week in classes. It was, and they complemented it. That's how it should be. And eventually it lost that a bit, because especially when I embraced just the lifting, I weren't as flowing as much, I weren't creative as much. Because, again, there's something to be said, if you want to lift a certain weight on a certain date, having a plan helps.
Yeah. It's more of a guide at that
point.
But
I'm still not a fan of following, like, really big, long, extensive programs. They're boring.
I think I never have been. I think if you'd ever given me one, I'd have gone, go for yourself.
It's like, you need to just, I don't even like, so now I found my rhythm with online coaching. So with rehab and stuff. And it's basically, I get coaches who want to know a little bit more usually. Yeah. And they've maybe got an injury. And they're like, I've tried all the usual stuff.
Yeah.
I've seen some of your stuff. It makes sense. So this is what I'm dealing with. And I'll be like, okay, try this and this. I'll get a voice note. I'll get a video. A couple of days later. Right, okay. Now I want you to try this. Yeah. And that's how I like doing it.
Yeah.
I don't want to do it, I'm going to do you a program for 8 weeks. I'm going to do you a diet plan. I have things I'll send you, like documents and stuff. which will give you some information.
You're going back to guiding them through their process of healing or their process of finding that strength again.
And you've got to react to how it goes. You might find something you weren't expecting, and then all of a sudden 7 weeks of your 8-week plan are void. You can't have a template. So that's, for me, that's how I want to do it, and that's how I'm going to continue to do it going forward. It has to be, like you said, a very natural, reacting day by day kind of thing.
It's an adaptive to the situation.
But I'm dead chuffed because I couldn't figure that out, because I knew that online it's beneficial for clients and for trainer. It's a way to make some money that's maybe not tied to a specific time of day.
Yeah. You can do that at any point.
Any time. You're also opened up to a lot more people. So you're opened up to a hell of a lot more. Sorry, I'm just turning this up a little bit.
Sorry.
You're opened up to a hell of a lot more people. A hell of a lot more. Jesus, is that even? Just feels like it's not that loud. It is. It's okay.
Yeah, I can slowly through here.
Yeah, it's okay. But you're opened up to a hell of a lot more people.
Yeah.
Around the world.
Yeah.
And it's like I said, I'm rehabbing a guy in Ireland at the minute. It's like, this is cool.
Like I'm starting to go down that route of like setting things like a Patreon up for Ariel, trying to get more videos out there, trying to get more content out there. Because I found the benefit myself as a student. So for silks, for example, I use a woman called Jill Franklin. I don't know if she's in America or Canada, but I'm learning a lot from her online resources about conditioning for Ariel, for specific exercises, specific moves or specific pathways of drops that I already know, which develops my base knowledge. So I'll go to people that are local to me for spotting and correct technique for the base move, and then I'm looking and finding more content online from, I think I pay for her app, which is like Aerial Physique, but I've learned so much as a coach, a way to teach people how to do it for my own body and adapt that, which I wouldn't have had without this online coaching. So for me as a student and a client, it's a lot more beneficial to be able to adapt on my already base knowledge.
Yeah, I suppose for me as well, a lot of people I treat are doing other shit.
Yeah.
And they're not looking for something new.
Yeah.
They're maybe just looking for something to complement what they're doing. So by doing it online, even with people who are local, I can potentially do it to... Sorry, this has just gone a bit mad.
It's just a curse of our podcast.
It's just gone a bit mad. It's just having a bit of a wobble. It's doing me head in. But yeah, so basically, I'd say that's better. Yeah, so...
Yeah, mine's a bit crackly.
Yeah, it was just a bit crackly then. But so basically I can complement the treatments I'm doing with them as well. So it's like, well, you don't have to necessarily come and see me every week.
Yeah.
Give me this, and for a month you can check in with me.
Yeah.
And we can go over the stuff I've sent you. Because I always try and send people stuff as well.
Yeah.
I always try and send them extra bits.
You always did do that though, even as a coach.
Yeah, I just want people to do well, don't you?
Yeah.
That's it. I just want people.
But you're investing a lot of time in these people as well, so you want them to get the best. As we went back to the start, you want to put your kind of whole into it, don't you? Your whole being, your whole commitment to them, because they're going to get a better result. Again, if you're half-assing it, they're not likely to get a good result either.
Yeah, that just brings me back to...
It's come full circle.
No, because I just thought about when you were talking before, you were on about when you were doing classes, and you were sort of saying... Sorry, this is just really annoying me. I feel like I can hear myself more. I can't hear myself very much on this one.
I can hear you.
Yeah, okay.
Like, I can hear you better in here than I can across the room.
Yeah, it's just annoying me. Anyway. Sorry. No, but my point was, so you said something before about when you're doing a class and maybe they weren't feeling it and you weren't feeling it. And that's something I've come to realise as well, is it's not just about my passion.
Yeah.
It's about who are the people I'm training and what they're doing and what's their passion.
Why do they want to do it?
Because if I've trained you for a year and you're not really, like, maybe you've made some progress, maybe lost a bit of weight, got a bit stronger, but you're not interested in, like, upgrading your life.
Yeah.
You're not interested in, like, trying that diet I told you about. You're not interested in coming to that class I told you about. You're not interested in going to that other thing I told you about. I'm not saying it's all training. Sometimes it might be I think you should do a bit of Reiki. I think you should do a bit of other stuff. You know what I mean? I'm always pretty open to anything that might help, even if I don't know. Like, I've done Reiki recently, and it's like I still don't know how I feel about it. But it's helped me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's helped you in some ways.
Yeah, so like, it's helping.
Yeah.
Even if it's just because I'm in a room and it's silent. Maybe that's it. I don't know. But it helps you get into a meditative state really quickly.
Yeah.
So, but my point is, it's like, it's like now, so I've picked to do a class, and I was like, I've been wanting to put something on for a bit, because I know I need to work with people.
Yeah.
So I know I need to be around some people again and coaching them. Like, and I do some coaching still, but like having some people come to classes, plus they have a chance to get to know me.
Yeah.
I can do some rehab stuff.
Yeah.
And then I found like a space. I realised there was nothing on early on a Saturday morning, and I was like, oh. So people don't hustle on a Saturday morning.
Yeah.
People lie in on a Saturday morning.
Why are they lying in?
Okay. Okay. Well, I had cut Saturday mornings off, but I've also rearranged my routine, so I'm not going in as many mornings. I'm doing like more evenings and stuff. So I was like, you know what? I'll claim that, because it's a perfect time for me to do work, and it's a perfect time for me to put a class on. And you know why as well? Because it's a sucky time, because it's winter, because it's dark, it's cold, and no one wants to do it on a Saturday morning. You want to
tackle getting people there.
I just think whoever turns up is going to want to train.
Yeah.
That's the way I figure it.
Yeah.
If it's 1, if it's 2, if it's 3.
Yeah.
I know that I've got 3 people here who have got a little bit about them.
Yeah.
Because they've got here at that time on a Saturday morning.
Yeah.
And that's my point. My point is, if you've progressed through this, have you started to notice that, the energy you're getting back is very as much important as your energy, basically. Yeah, in fact, it will actually.
I think you feed off each other's energy. Because I as a student, when I do things, I find that your students that come to you, or your people that come to you, like you might find in your class, are people that do want to exercise, but they come for you as well. So if you're giving them that negative energy, 9 times out of 10, you're not going to go back. And I've been to some classes that I've gone, don't like that energy of that instructor, didn't like how they delivered that. Do you know what? They weren't right for me. So I found, the tribes that I get are, because I'm tribes, because they are my people, tend to be people that are either similar to me or get something from me that they don't get elsewhere, other than the fitness. But also I find that when they're in a good mood, I'm in a good mood. When they're in a sucky mood, I'm in a sucky mood. So I do find, especially when it goes back to those failing classes, is having a look at energy on both sides. And obviously also try not to project your own energy on people. If you know you're in a sucky mood, try not to project that as well on people, because I've noticed that has an effect on your energy in the class as well. The way my students laugh, but I call people like little vampires, like they're little energy vampires, both ways though. So we'll absorb each other's energies both ways. God, I sound very yoga now. It's funny because I don't do yoga and energy.
No, it's. I think did you teach me this word, succubus?
I didn't, but I like it.
Is it from Harry Potter?
No, it's just a very mythological creature.
I thought, so I'm sure someone told me it was from Harry Potter. But anyway, the point was that these people who suck energy and suck your soul out. We've been around trainers who are like that, and we've been around. No, but I'm just saying we've seen it for you, because you were at Evolve when I said at Evolve. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I was there when you were still a little tiny unit as well.
Yeah, that's what I mean. So it's like, we've seen that. We've seen what happens when people are. It just doesn't work. It doesn't work for either person.
Their clients pick up on it as well. Like, I definitely notice my clients pick up on my energy. And I think sometimes, I don't know if it's the older I'm getting or the more experienced I'm getting, is also not being afraid to acknowledge that and go, you know what? I'm being a bit of a dick today. I'm projecting my emotions on you as well. And that's it. I think it's good and mature to recognise that as a coach as well when you're projecting that. I talked a lot about with students recently, some of my clients recently, how sometimes as well you can get an idea in your head of like, well, this person's not gonna do that. That person's not gonna succeed. They're gonna give up there. And I thoroughly enjoy the students that prove you wrong as well, or the clients that prove you wrong. And in your head you go, do you know what, they were gonna give up after week 3 or week 4, and they're still with you a year later. You're like, fuck me, you've really fought against that. And I always, those clients that I think give me that positive energy, the ones that want to be, like you said, the ones that turn up on a Saturday will be the ones that want to be there. And that, I think, feeds your energy back to you a little bit.
Yeah, I guess, again, I'm still at that point that if I'm going to do classes, I'm going to do coaching, and that's what I'm going to do that. I enjoy it, I really do.
You'll get a lot out of it, those people that want to be there.
But that's all I want, and I don't care. I don't care if no one comes for weeks. Yeah. That's where I'm at, because it is just purely for fun and for research. Yeah. So I'm just like, I'm not looking for it to be busy. I'm just looking for it to be meaningful.
Yeah.
That's it. I just want to carry on building up. Plus, it's an opportunity for people I work with, if they want to come and learn a bit more. It's kind of like people I help. I'll give lots of advice. I'll give diet advice, training advice. I'll give opportunities. Do it with my friends. And you either take them or you don't.
Yeah.
I'm not going to chase anyone. I'm not going to run after anyone.
No.
I'm not going to go out my way to do stuff.
You did a lot of that, didn't you, in it?
Oh, yeah.
It didn't get you.
No, it doesn't. So it's
like where you want to be.
I will just go here. Here's one of my friends, he had a lot of health problems. He's my age. And I'm like, what are you doing? And I'm like, right, if you do this, this, and this, you'll be off all them tablets.
Yeah.
And I know I'm not a doctor, but they were all easily, you can easily make it.
Easy lifestyle change.
Yeah, 100%. Do this, this, and this. I guarantee in a month you'll feel better. Guarantee in 2 months you'll feel well. You'll feel a different person. I don't think he's done it, but if he does, then hopefully I see him again, and I'll go, okay, now try this.
Yeah.
That's how I am with people now, and it's like. And again, it's like, if you're someone who comes and I'll go over some exercises with you, I'll give you some information, I'll tell you some places that might be useful for you to go. If you go, you go. But I'll also go, I'm here. But now I'm here at 6 on a Saturday morning.
Yeah. Want to learn more? Come over here.
And if you do, then maybe you're committed, maybe you give a shit, maybe you actually want to get somewhere, and that's kind of the way I figure it. We're providing service. There's a lot of opportunity there. We're in a great place to help people, but we have got to remember ourselves as well.
Yeah.
And it's kind of it's not selfish, because like I was talking about before, the amount of trainers who just go through the motions, and that's not fair either. It's not fair to a client, it's not fair to themselves. So you've got to, whatever you're doing, you should want to do it.
Yeah. And
you should do it as an opportunity. And if that means you have to go, you know what? I'm covering this class and I don't really like it. Fucking change it then.
Yeah.
Talk to the guy. Go, this isn't me.
Yeah.
Like if you went to me, Nick, I need you to cover this CrossFit class. I'm like, well, I have no idea. I've never done it.
Yeah.
So no.
Yeah.
But what I will do for you is
I'll do this.
I'll put a circuit on.
Yeah.
I'll do what I know.
Yeah.
I'll throw some shit in they know.
Yeah.
I'll make it relevant. I'll make sure they get a good workout. I'll make sure it's balanced. But I'm going to do what I know and what I enjoy. I'm not going to just randomly do something I have no idea about. And I'm not going to cover something just for the sake of it. If I'm going to do something, it's going to be meaningful.
Yeah.
And it's going to be fun, and it's going to be rewarding on both parties. That's how I view training now.
Yeah.
But it's cool to get to that point.
I'm really lucky, I guess, in some ways, that the culture at Sirens is very much that. It's not, if you're covering a class, it's not, you're doing it that Kat's way or Josie's way. You're doing it in your way. You're allowed to be you. You're allowed that freedom. We were saying before about creativity. I'm very fortunate, kind of where I've landed is so big on creativity. So like our gym, we won't do things like Zumba. We won't do things like that are gatekeeps to a particular brand. Kat is very much like, you want to put a dance class on? Cool. Call it what you want. Do what you want.
Yeah.
You want to do a silks class? Cool. Do what you want. Like, we're very much, you're allowed your space to be you. And again, that's why we get that culture of, and that community that we get at Sirens is very much, they're there for the energy of your class. They're there for the enjoyment. And I have found, go back to creativity, that being allowed to be creative as a PT, aerialist, dancer, I guess I'm all three at once, means that my classes have that flexibility as well to be like, okay, people are getting bored, let's change it up a little bit. Let's make it more of a routine class now, and then let's make it more of a photo shoot class. Let's make it more of a fitness class. And again, you adapt. We don't talk about adaptability. You adapt to the needs of the clients. And yeah, I think where I am now is very, very lucky that I've got that opportunity to do that. Whereas I also know some other coaches are probably in a structure or in a gym that doesn't allow that creativity as well. I think there's corporate doesn't help. I think that kills I've seen a lot of trainers in corporate gyms that just don't flourish. They're just not creative. They're not happy to be there, or they're very much like robot PTs.
Yeah, they're just, I think sometimes resentful.
Yeah.
And then you see it carries on to, say they go into the private gyms.
Yeah.
They're still quite resentful.
Yeah. They take that energy with them. They take that negativity.
It's like they feel like, well, why should I have to clean up? Why should I have to do this? Why should? And it's like
the grunt work.
Yeah, you're like, why? Like clean the toilet, man. Like, don't ever be above. Like, if I'm here and I've got a spare minute, I'll get Hoover out. I'll throw some bleach down toilet. In
Sirens, most of the instructors also double up as reception staff, so there is no ego. Yeah. It's like pretty much every one of us do a reception shift once a week, or cover, or clean a toilet, wash the pots, like all these little things, clean the gym equipment down.
But why wouldn't you? Like,
why wouldn't you want to do it?
I have a room here. I'm not part of the gym in a lot of ways, but I am. You know what? I feel more part of this place than. Yeah, it feels good. Terry's really sound. I get on for a lot.
Same with Cat.
He showed me. Amazing. Yeah, he showed me how to. Like, I showed him some stuff the other day, and he showed me. I treated him, and then we showed each other some bits. Yeah. It was well cool. He taught me how to do the proper kit movements and stuff, and all. Because again, that's one of the things you'd look at and go, I don't know about that. Mm-hmm. And then he showed it me, and I did it, and I was like, ooh, that's interesting. Yeah. That. There's something to that movement and that. Oh, and that solves this problem. Ooh, you know what I mean? And it's like, it's dead cool. But again, I'm here. I'm earning a living out of it. It's a cool place to be. It's a cool place to work.
Why wouldn't when you pitch into that?
Why wouldn't I want it to be nice for my clients to turn up? Why wouldn't I want it to look good? Why wouldn't I want it to flourish? Why wouldn't I want all the other trainers in here to do well so this place does well?
Yeah.
But yet I've been around loads of places, my own included, because, I've had some, let's just say, some difficulties along the way. And what I will say is, as much as I could find fault in other people's behaviours, I can find fault in my own too. Yeah. Because I was new to it, I was learning. Yeah. It was a lot of emotion tied into it. I weren't professional enough about stuff. Yeah. And what I saw as being kind and human and nice, well, I probably should have been a bit more business.
You weren't a business owner. You were being Nick the friendly PT that had his pals over. You weren't the business.
Yeah.
Do you know what? We need to clean the fucking toilet. Like,
you know what? I'm doing 50, 60 hours of PTs here. And I'm covering classes.
I'm the cleaner.
Just to pay the bills.
Yeah.
Get the fucking Hoover out. Like, you're giving me no...
That's why I never used to mind mopping hybrid or giving an Hoover.
Man, like people who were giving you no money because they... Granted, okay, you've had a tough month, that's fine. Yeah. But recognise, regardless of whether I have a tough month or not, I've still got the bills to pay.
Yeah.
And it's like...
Like, I remember you letting me rig my aerial equipment when I was a brand new aerialist. Yeah. Letting me rig it. But I'd hoover the things or give it a mop down because obviously I was struggling. I wasn't in a position to give you any rent because we didn't have the classes up. But I did it in other ways. I was like, right, well, I'll give it a clean, I'll give it a mop. Came down, we had a flood.
Yeah. But that's because look, when I first went to Evolve, I just said to Jimmy, like, look, I want to do this. Mm-hmm. I'm probably going to get made redundant soon. Yeah. But I can't really afford to pay your rent. Yeah. Can I open up for you and do classes? And he went, yeah. He was chuffed because I agreed to do all the morning classes. Like,
he didn't want to do them.
He's like, who's this lunatic? I'm like, yeah, I'm loving it. Like, he's like, is this nut job? But, and he gave me that chance. Yeah. And I was able to, because of that took a bit of pressure off me. Yeah. Thinking about it, I'd probably been better doing a few more PTs. Been less time. Yeah. But I met clients, I got clients. I built a community which eventually became my gym. So that opportunity he gave me paved the way for everything to this day. And that's my point. That's why I will always, if I can give someone an opportunity, I will. Because
you gave me the space to practice more, to strengthen more. And for me, like, you were there to support me when I went, do you know what, Nick? I want to be a PT. Who'd have thought I'd have been a PT? Do you remember that time I fell on my face with a kettlebell?
Yeah.
I bet you'd still tell that story.
Everyone. Whenever I describe you, it starts off arielist, accomplished, really good, won this competition.
National finalist.
Yeah, won this competition, and she fell on her face swinging a kettlebell.
Like, I wasn't a fitness person at all. Like, do you know, I used to come hungover. I was a uni student when I used to come hungover. Mum used to drag me at 6:30 in the morning, so we'd been up since 5:30. I was never happy to be there. But, like, looking now, what was that? I was 22. You're talking 8 years ago. Like, 8 years has passed since then. Now I'm an accomplished full-time aerialist. I work at Sirens. I'm working at Cloud once a week now, and I'm in talks and negotiations with another studio owner to go over to another studio. So potentially, from a girl that fell on her face with kettlebell to 2 times national champion finalist, working at 3 studios and a level qualified personal trainer with pre-postnatal. I always forget I've got that. I look at that and go, for me, that's been a good 8 years. It's been tough. I remember sitting with you, and we'd have coffee, or we'd have a massage when you were learning, and I was like, I want to quit my job. I've had enough of my job. Like, I remember working 50 hours a week as a receptionist at the play centre, and then going and teaching like PTs on top of that, because I was learning and still having to put the grunt work in and clean the sides and stuff and do reception shifts. It was tough. It was really tough, but here we are now.
But that's all it is. It's
what it takes.
That's what it is to get to anything. So we were talking about Nickel before, and like doing the chocolates and doing the cakes, and you've seen that. We had a kitchen.
Yeah.
That turned into a cake business because of lockdown.
Yeah.
Then she has a terrible pregnancy. She has loads of health things with Daisy. Her and Daisy both.
They're at a difficult time, isn't they?
Really lost them both.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Then you got the post-traumatic stress with that, and she's been through all that. Kept pushing, kept doing a little post that got to nowhere, like all of us. Like we all
into
post,
the void.
Yeah, into the ether, and we all post, and we keep doing it. And she's done it, and she gets a customer, she gets a repeat client, she's building that client base.
Yeah.
It's slowly coming bit by bit, and she gets a nice, like, decent one where it's at a farm, and it's for Halloween, and she's like, I hope they sell it all. 2 days later, we need double. 2 days after that,
and she's still doing it in a kitchen now.
So she's in a kitchen, and she's registered with the council, and she's, and she's done such a good job getting
legal stuff there.
Well, she's fine, she's level 5 and all that stuff, whatever, 5 or whatever. But she's done all that work to do it. She's doing it. We've got 3 kids running around, and she's in there till like 12 at night and she does, like, she's obsessed with the detail. So I've recognised in her, actually, she's more creative than I realised.
Yeah.
And it's come out in
Well, you're watching her flourish, aren't you? You're watching her learn.
Well, I'm watching her creative side come out.
Yeah.
And then you find, like, Lois found some of her old stuff the other week. It was like some drawings she'd done. And it's like, she's got a creative side. Because when I met her, she was going to army. But she's got this creative side, and it's coming out now. She's doing this, and it's so good to see.
The passion's back into it now as well, isn't it?
Yeah, well, she gets it.
Yeah.
Like, she gets me more, and I get her, and I get exactly what she's going through now, and it's dead good to see it. And I think she understands. I'm definitely, I'm a lunatic. I'm a lot.
You're a textbook lunatic.
No, because it's like, I am like, we'll just get settled, and I'll be like, right, Nick, I'm going to get this property, and I'm going to do that, you know what I mean? I'm like, and just as things are going okay. Like,
you just like the chaos.
Yeah, I do. But for the first time I feel dead aligned, but it's even worse because I feel like I'm doing exactly what I'm supposed to do. I'm in exactly the place I'm supposed to be in. I'm figuring out the stuff I'm supposed to be figuring out, including my own body. And the more I do that, it's like the more my mind gives me. Mm-hmm. My point is, it's just seeing someone else finding that passion and what she's putting into it. But back to your point, it's like, there's all that struggle, all that stress, all that, like trying to keep the gym going, trying to keep it going.
No one sees it.
Oh,
no one sees it.
Like making each other Christmas presents so the kids had stuff, you know what I mean? Like, but we just
made... For me, I look down and I've got like my hands are absolutely battered. I didn't realise how bad they were until I went, because I've got carpal tunnel at the moment in both of my wrists, obviously because my sport is so demanding, it's starting to affect different things. So I was seeing a specialist about it, and he looked at my hands and he went, Jesus. And this was like an NHS specialist going, God, you do put everything into your sport. And I was like, you kind of have to. You have to be passionate. Like, my sport gives me literal blood, sweat and tears. Like, I've bled. I've come off a performance and been like, shit, man, I've split my hands because they've been too dry, or I've stepped off a crash mat and torn my ankle ligament. Like, that has happened. No one sees this. I get a lot of people being like, oh my God, you're so good. Oh, I loved your video. Oh, you know, that performance. And I'm like, you've not just seen the hundreds of hours that I've been putting into that, the tears, the frustration, the bruises. Oh my God, the bruises. Like the bruises that go into my training. The most common thing I see in a beginner is they'll start hoop and they'll go, oh, it really hurts. And I'm like, it's a metal fucking bar. What the fuck do you expect? Yeah. Like, it's going to hurt you. And yeah, you go back to Nick and go back to you, and it's how no one's seeing that hundreds of hours of posts not seen, or people not recognising you, or people not coming to your classes.
Yeah, I don't want to say not recognising, because that feels...
It's probably the wrong expression.
But maybe that probably is how I used to post.
Yeah.
You know, like you want people to see you, you want people to come to you, you want business. Mm-hmm. Whereas now, I guess it was maybe pause a sec, because now when I feel like I'm posting, I've got stuff in my head, I need to get it out.
That's what I've got to post now.
It's just like, this is in my head, I'm seeing this problem all the time, here's a solution, and I've found a way of delivering it that's a bit more concise, and I provide more detail within the post usually, because a point I heard someone say is, so don't worry about getting too much detail in your video, because most people are going to click off after a few seconds. Right?
They're gone after 5 seconds.
Yeah. So people who are interested are going to watch.
Yeah.
So, but what you're going to do is, you've got to give them more information.
Yeah.
So what you do is you do simple video with just instruction, and then provide more info in the caption. Because the people who are interested are going to read, whereas the people who aren't going to...
They weren't going to watch it anyway.
Yeah.
They weren't going to read it.
So you've got to think about those people who are actually valuing it, and service them well.
Yeah.
So basically make sure you are providing them with as much info as you can. Which sounds mental because you're doing it for free.
Yeah.
But to me,
that unpaid labour.
But for me, that's where it starts. You know, if I said for me, it's going down that. Well, I get some online clients from it. Yeah. I open myself up to more. I get to again. I just feel like this sounds weird, and maybe I'm embracing my hippie side more. But I just
we've both been a bit more hippie today.
Well, interesting. I'll go back to this point in a minute, but like, I just feel like I'm being. It's almost like I'm being gifted it. I don't feel like it's mine. I feel like I'm just a conduit. That's what I feel like. I feel like I'm drawing shit from the ether, and I'm just processing it through my meat engine, right? And some of it's down to me. It could be my subconscious. I'm at this point where I'm like, I've always been an atheist kind of thing for a long time, but I'm now at this point where I'm open to the idea that there's something beyond this life, maybe even just layers of it. But I'm like, right,
it's giving you purpose.
But I figure shit out, and shit comes to me at the right time. Sometimes, not always. I know you could always find it. But whatever it's coming from, it's either my subconscious working overdrive, and I'm getting better at tapping into it, because that's a thing.
Yeah.
Your subconscious.
That's a research thing, isn't it?
It will nudge you. Or it's fucking for and Odin. That's the two. That's where I'm going with it.
And that's two extremes.
I've started talking. No, but I've started just going. I just started saying, "Look, the gods have spoke to me." Like, if people say, "Why the fuck are you in the gym at 4 a.m?" I'm on a mission from God.
Odin says we must be restrained.
Yeah, I'm on a mission from Odin.
We must train for war.
That's it. Like, that's doing God's work. That's what I'm going to start saying to people. Fuck you. No, but like, I'm at that point now. So interestingly, I found as I got more in touch with my body.
It sounds like you've got your purpose. Like you're more driven to your purpose now.
And it just feels like, and I can have. I've always had glimmers over my life. Like, even when I was this small fat kid who had no confidence, I had these images in my head of this guy I was going to be.
Yeah.
What happens is, that's what I feel like. We have these things we're going for, and we're going to them. But then
does it go like this?
We get like that. So we're still going forward, but we get further.
But the paths over,
and we're putting all this energy into these other paths.
Yeah.
And really, we're trying to get back to here in our body and our minds. It's like you could view your body as its own organism. It's its own consciousness.
It's weird that you had that, because I remember when I changed my pathway, was when I was doing art. I was at college. I was doing art. I'd always been a performer. Always. I'd always done drama club, acting, plays. Never really been a dancer. Never really been into fitness, but I was very much into performance. And I always remember my appendix burst, and I don't know what it was about my appendix bursting and having a lot of time to think when I really miss performing. And I'm glad that I had that glimmer. Are you saying about that path? I was on that virgin path that was down a path that wasn't really me. And I had this little nudge in my head that said, you miss performing, you need to go and perform. And I remember when I healed, I went into college and I went to the art and design people and said, I don't want to do this anymore. And they're like, yeah, but you're a distinction student. I was like, don't want to do it. Not for me. No, thank you. I went to performing arts and was like, do you have an open day or do you have an interview day? And I explained that and I said, there's something in me that doesn't want to go down this pathway. I need to go this way. And I went down it and I'm glad I did, because then that led me to where I wanted to go. And I remember with my uni choices, I was like, oh, I can go this way. And that was a spiral different ways. And for some reason I went to Ed Chill. I don't know why I went to Ed Chill. My brain just went, like, that's the one we're going to. So everyone told me at that point, go to conservatoire, go to a dance conservatoire, go to a drama school, you'll get a job that way. And I kind of went, oh, fuck it, we'll go to Ed Chill. Let's go to university, because I was into the research, and very much like you, I like researching things and pathways and why things happen, or how at that point I was getting more into dance and how the body moves. And that then led me on to, obviously, third year, finding aerial, and then that obviously spiraled into ended up being where I am now. And I always had those little moments of like, do I go here? But I could see that maybe I'd been happy, but not as happy as I could have been that way, and that way, and that way. And now I'm at a point where I love what I do. Like, I don't want to stop what I'm doing. I'm very much on my pathway, but I also know there'll be time to change it if needs be and adapt to it. Again, we go back to, we talked about adaptability and evolving. A lot of it's about evolving as we go. It was interesting that you had that same glimmer of...
I've had throughout my life.
Yeah.
Whether it be when I worked at Tesco, whether it be, just throughout my life. When I was in a bad place when I was a teenager. Yeah. And I just got drawn to martial arts, you know?
Yeah. I was always drawn to performance.
Yeah.
Always.
I think I have been.
Yeah.
And I think, I used to be a drummer and stuff, but I don't think that was it. I enjoy drumming.
Yeah.
But
there'd have been something in that your body needed.
It. Well, I think vibrations have an effect on the body. I know it sounds mad, but I think some of what I do with the tools, I think some of it's the vibration.
Yeah.
You mentioned about everyone getting bruised up when they're first using the hoop. Well, I think that will do a lot of good for desensitising the fascia in the skin.
Yeah, so, we talk a lot about sensitisation, desensitisation.
And I think that, like, we used to work all this stuff out of us because we used to live in fucking caves and hunt animals and chase after shit. Yeah. So we worked all this tension out of us all the time.
Just naturally.
We don't though. So something like aerial, that actually, I never thought about that. But
it's very primal.
Just that desensitisation of pressing on stuff all the time. Because again, that's, a lot of what I'm doing is I'm exposing my body to all sorts of ranges, all sorts of stimulus. And the more you do that, the better you feel. The more in touch you get with the body, the more in touch you get with the mind. And it's like sometimes I'll be struggling with a physical breakthrough. And it'll be a psychological breakthrough that gets me there.
Yeah.
And the vice versa.
Yeah.
Sometimes the physical ones, and it's like a dam goes, and there's some stuff for me to deal with.
I talk a lot with my clients and students, and I make it a talking point and normalise that plateaus are very, very real, especially in aerial. And we talk a lot about the, obviously, strength element of it, sometimes flexibility, the very biomechanical parts of it. But I talk a lot about the mental struggle, and I was like, there's a time when your body is strong enough, but your mind needs to come around to the idea or break that brick away. I usually describe it as a wall, and we just take a layer of it, and then a layer, and then eventually we can just take the last one away, and your body unlocks it. Because I see it a lot in aerial, people are physically strong enough, things like straddles, up and overs, they're really big mental blocks for people. They've got all the tools in their toolbox to do it, but their brain is still holding them back. And a lot of them that I find when they lower their expectation is 9 times out of 10 the time they get it, because they're not putting that insane amount of pressure on themselves to get something. Again, I know yours is fitness, it's a bit of a different route. With aerial, we really talk about the mental side of stuff.
But see, that's why I'm doing psychology now, because I recognise that it's both. And the thing is with fitness, a lot of it's missing the mark.
Mm-hmm.
So people are still fat, people are still ill, people are still getting bigger, people are still getting more and more unhealthy, and it's not slowing down.
No.
We just had a pandemic where the people most at risk.
I found that it shot up, completely shot up after the pandemic.
But the people most at risk were the people who are unhealthy, and that still hasn't kicked them in.
Yeah.
They're still like, what medication's going to have? You know, can I have a booster? Can I have this? And it's like, maybe go for a run. You know, maybe drink one less day a week. Maybe, you know what I mean?
Have a stretch. But move.
What you realise is, like, and I've worked with a lot of people in various stages over the years, from the very extreme to the super motivated. And there's so much of it's in here, like you said. It's like, so what happens is people come to a gym, they come to a class, they could do whatever it is, and they get stuck. Yeah. And then they usually go through a number of things. Some might blame themselves. A lot will blame other things going on in their life. Then they might blame the instructor. They might blame the class.
Yeah, you get a lot of instructor blame.
But what they don't do is recognise that no, this is an opportunity. Yeah. There's a gain here, not just physically. If I can figure this out, I'm going to learn something about myself. Yeah. I find it on long walks. I find it on runs. Like when I'm alone with my thoughts. Yeah. Like I was doing one the other day and I was like, I put a headphone in and someone just said, no, you don't get a podcast. You need to think. And it was like, and then I had these thoughts and I'm on my way around to Daniel's and I did a video about Daniel the other day. But I'm on my way around and I'm just thinking, because he'd had this NHS psychologist that just...
Don't remember on him.
They basically, him and the physio said they're going to give up on him because he's not trying. And I'm like, this guy's had so much happen to him. He's got so much post-traumatic stress. It's unreal. Yeah. I'm very much a student in psychology, right?
That's the time when he needs the people the most.
Yeah, but like I'm a student, right? I know people. I've worked with a lot of people for a long time. I've been a manager for a number of years. I've been a leader of people for a long time. And I'm like, no, we need to step up here. Yeah. This guy needs leading, but he also needs to recognise his own strengths and stuff. Like you need to build this guy up. Fear does not work. No. We're gonna pull away. Well, that's what you did last time, and you left him complete. And it just, you've got to. But point I'm making is his issue is psychological. Yeah. So it's coming back to that. It's coming back to he's got to work through that stuff as well, and we've got to help him get there. And it ties in with everything. It's the same with people who are unhealthy. But you've got to face that difficulty. And like I said, I was doing that the other day. I'm walking and it's raining and I'm thinking...
You don't want to be wet. You don't want to be in the cold.
No, but I do. And I don't, but I do. I went running this morning because it was chucking it down. Yeah. Literally because it was chucking it down. I'm fighting with myself. I left the house once to walk to the shop because we needed a bit of stuff. And I went back and got changed. I'm going for a run first. And I went to the shop on my way back.
We got changed together.
And then I was in all day, full of mud, dripping. But because there's lessons there, there's things that people avoid getting in touch with the mind and with their own body. Yeah. And they've both got things to teach you.
I found a lot of the people that have stuck it out in my discipline, or a lot of my clients that stick it out, are the ones that aren't afraid to have that real talk about the struggles. So like I said, we talk about the mental side of it, probably a lot more than the physical side. Everyone knows if you can't lift yourself, we can lift some weights, we can condition to that. But it's getting past that hurdle of the brain of being like, you are able to do it, you are confident enough. And in my classes, we don't tend to use the word I can't do this. We say we can't do it yet. We always say yet, because they know and I know that eventually they will be able to do it. So we try to stay away from kind of that negative connotation with fitness of just because you can't do something yet doesn't mean you won't always be able to do it. But that also came, a lot of it was from probably your coaching with me and falling off this kettlebell. I can now swing one safely. But my coach Kat as well, when I was doing silks, one of the things I remember she said to me was, just because it's hard doesn't mean it's not worth doing. When I was going to give up, I remember looking at it and I was like, I fucking hate doing this. It makes me feel shit. I'm not strong enough. And I think I said to her, what's the fucking point in paying you when I can't fucking do it? Which, looking back, was really offensive. I basically just told her as a coach, why do I pay you as a coach? But she didn't take that personally. She didn't feed that energy that I had. And she threw it back at me and was like, you're the one that's fucking here. You're having the paddy. why are you having this? And that always stuck out to me. And we laugh about it constantly now. The fact that I was facing myself that thing of like, I'm not good enough for this. But to come to the other side of it, like my confidence, my anxiety is a lot less these days. I'm a lot more like, just because I can't do something doesn't mean I won't get it. I'll try again tomorrow. I'll try again next week. And I encourage that in the students as well and my clients. And is that very real of keep trying, keep pushing, keep growing, keep adapting, keep learning. And we talked a lot about that. We're very similar in terms of we're always both wanting to learn and grow and mature. And yeah, that's definitely something I see the most in Ariel, I think. But to see people come to the other side of that as a coach brings your energy back to kind of that, this is why I do this is why I put those long hours in, that's why I put myself through this to learn stuff for my clients. And I think for me as a coach, that's my passion, that's my purpose. We talked about purpose before. That's my purpose, is to see my people achieve and my people, my tribe, get that confidence that I've got. Because I remember when you met me, I was really quite shy. I was quite quiet. I'd have to give it you back. I'd be like, no, fuck off. But I wouldn't engage with people in the class unless I knew them. I very much clung to my mum, if you remember. I wouldn't come on my own. I remember coming to one class on my own, and you was like, you actually double takes that my mum was there. And I always think, if I can give the same as you, if you can give back what has been given to you, that's going to give you a good benefit in the future. Just that happiness. So for me, I mean, I've really come to enjoy what I do for the people side of it. People get stronger, people get weaker, people change, people need different adaptabilities. But I think the human side of coaching is probably what keeps me going to it. And just seeing that change in people, that either physical or the mental, it's seeing people go from not being confident. For example, on the hoop, I've had a client who they wouldn't even touch the hoop. When it moves, I was like, of course it moves. It's hung from the ceiling. It took them about 4 weeks for the hoop to move, for them to just touch it. And now they're about to do a performance for our showcase. So to see that confidence level somebody boost, that's my purpose. That's my passion. That gives me a lot of joy in my life, even if my face isn't showing it.
No, it was just interesting listening to you talk about it. 'Cause I was thinking before when you were on about becoming your mum. When did it take that shift to you coming on your own and then coming more than your mum and that type of thing, and it kind of became your thing?
Yeah.
And you're like, when did you get that? And it's kind of like it sounds like you had it, but maybe fear and ego were keeping you back.
Yeah, I was terrified.
Yeah.
I always wanted to be strong, and not necessarily physically. I mean, everyone wants to be strong physically, but mentally, I always wanted to be strong. So I've suffered from anxiety for a very, very, very long time. I think longer than I've known anxiety was a thing. I've definitely been on that side of, you're not good enough, my confidence wasn't there. And yeah, along the way, it switched. I don't know when that was, because I obviously was with you for PT with my mum. It was always with my mum. And then I came on my own, and I think I was so unhappy at university. My first year was quite horrific. I socially was out of my depth. Research-wise, degree-wise, where I needed to be, but mentally, fuck me, I hated it. My first year, I spent my first week just crying. Mum and Dad had to come the first week up because I was like, I can't do this. I can't live with people that I don't know. And again, that's anxiety and ego. Everyone talks about having like people being egotistical of like, oh, I'm the big ill, but no one talks about the other side of ego, as how ego can push you down as well.
It's a protective thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's to protect you from feeling shitty, from feeling vulnerable.
From rejection, from all those shameful kind of feelings that you get alongside it all.
It's weird, isn't it? Because again, like you said, you have this desire to perform. I think I do more than I realised. Because I've been a manager for, like, I've been a leader, I've been a gym owner, I do videos.
Yeah.
I want to perform, don't I, basically? There's no point saying I don't, because I wouldn't do this shit.
Yeah.
I like doing nunchucks. I like performing. I had some message the other day going, because he'd watched one of my videos where I took piss out the government. He's like, mate, you should do stand-up comedy. And I'm like, maybe. Got some great bits about Nicola. I'll tell you one, actually. I'll tell you this. I'm breaking up with this. I told this Daniel Scratch. Right. So we've been watching this thing called Hull Raisers.
Uh-huh.
So obviously Nicola, very clever like woman. You know, she used to do health and safety at a chemical plant.
Yeah.
She's good. She's good with stuff. She picks up on stuff I don't pick up on. She figures stuff out.
Well, just to calculate for a bacon.
Yeah, well, it's not just that. She's got a proper good bullshit meter on her. Like, she spots the bullshit.
She doesn't take bullshit.
Yeah, she spots the bullshit.
I always like Nicola.
Yeah, she just smells it out like that. Like, well, I'm dead naive. Okay, so watching Hull Raisers, right?
Yeah.
And it's about these women living in, like, you know, rough bit of Hull, and it's pretty funny. It's really good. And there's this woman in it. You know, she's a bit rough, bit common, and she's a fully grown human woman, right? So I'll just point that out. And we're watching it, and she's like, "Oh, I recognise her voice. I'm like, "Oh, I know what you mean. Sounds a bit familiar, but I'm not sure. I don't think she's been in anything." So get on Google. You know, she's like, "No, she's not really been in anything we watched."
Mm-hmm.
All right. Did she play that dwarf in Peter Kay? And I was just, fully grown human woman, fully grown, right? Did she play that dwarf that was in Peter Kay? I was just like, you fucking what? What did you just say to me? Did she just, what? She's like, what do you mean? I was like, do you understand what, like, a dwarf is? Do you understand, like, what's going on there? Well, she's an actor. I don't know, she's a fucking actor.
Was she just digging that hole?
She's an actor. It doesn't mean she can change shapes. Like, well, she might have what? Stop being a dwarf. Like, what is going on? So I reckon that'll turn into a pretty good bit someday.
Yeah, that would do.
Oh, God. But yeah, I was laughing around.
Well, isn't that a thing where apparently highly intelligent people have no fucking common sense? Because I'm one of those.
Yeah. But I don't. I'm an idiot. Physically. So physically I'm an idiot. Yeah. So I do stupid stuff physically. Professionally as well and stuff, but like the other, oh God, so drain's blocked.
You mean you don't think about things before you do them?
So the drain's blocked, right? And it's been blocked for a couple of days, and I know there's going to be toys down there, and I've put it off. I've put it off to my day off. So I do the whole dad thing. I tied it garden first. Well, I'll tie it garden up while I'm out here, and I'll face it. So I get, you know, bin bags on, gloves
on the arms,
tape them on, and what I'd also done is Nick had got some drain unblocker and she poured that down.
Mm-hmm.
So she's poured this drain unblocker down the kitchen sink, and obviously it's gone into this drain that's not draining very well, in the hope that it would help. So anyway, so I get the bin bags on, double bin bag, and I start going in.
You don't know what's in there?
No, I'm pulling out like kids' toys, balls, earmuffs. Swear down, it was just crap. I did a bag of just
You've having kids, innit?
And I'm digging out like all the crap that's built up, and I'm like, fucking hell, this is bad. And then then my bin bag slips.
Oh no!
So I start getting it in my arm. I'm right down under it. I'm reaching. I'm trying to grab it as much as I can out. I'm just trying to it feels like there's something just blocking it. And then I'm like, oh, it's getting minging this. Pull out, readjust, go again. Anyway, I then take it off, and at this point, my arm, I thought I've scraped it on the way in. My arm's burning, and I'm like, what's going on? So after a minute, I'm like, fuck, her mum's in the house, so I take, like, jumper off, and my arm's all wet. I'm like, fuck, I'll take that off. It's all red. And I'm like, what's going on? So I wash it, and then I thought, right, I jumped in the shower.
Yeah.
Washed it again. I've given myself chemical burns.
Oh, God.
There's fucking drain unblocker in this drain, so I've fucking...
Did you know she put it in before?
Yeah, I'm a fucking idiot.
Oh, okay.
So, like, yeah, it weren't... What was happening was I thought that the bin bag had fallen down and my jumper was getting sticky.
Was it gone for your jumper?
The bin bag had melted and it was starting to melt my fucking... No. It was like caustic fucking acid or whatever it is. Whatever you put... It was an industrial thing. So it fucking... I literally...
Not even like the supermarket
Oh, no, so I
version.
had to put fucking Sudocreme all over me, wrap cling film around my arm. I give myself chemical burns. I'm a fucking moron. They're me just like, this is burning. Fucking chemical burns in a drain. full of shite.
Full of kids' toys.
So then I ring Phil, who's drain doctor, and he helps me out as he always does. And he's like, "Why didn't you ring me first?" I was like, "Well, I had to try.
Because you did the physically stupid thing.
Yeah, but my point before was like, the ego and stuff. It's weird, isn't it, that you have that, but then you also have this desire to do stuff.
Yeah.
And it's like, is it there to keep you in check? What is it?
Yeah.
But it's like you have to wrestle it. Like you have to wrestle it.
You can't let it come too big, but you can't let it be too small. You've got to find the right balance for your ego.
But then my point was, I was thinking about all them people who, like you said, they come and they're like, they don't even want to try.
Yeah.
And it's got to be an extremely high percentage of people are just holding themselves back through fear and through ego.
Yeah.
Such a high percentage.
Absolutely. I see it all the time.
It's
all
like,
the time.
And they get defensive, they close down.
Yeah.
You see it, don't you?
Yeah.
They get dead dismissive of things. And then the minute something comes up, well, I read this article saying women shouldn't do strength training. What do you think? Like, what do you think? Like, I was on about before, like, evidence-based coaches.
Oh, it's always women shouldn't do this, women shouldn't do that.
Well, there's loads of that, and then there's like, don't eat eggs, they'll give you cancer. Then it's like, don't eat steak, that'll do this.
Don't eat bacon.
Yeah. There's always something, and there's always
tomatoes will give you green fingers.
There's always a study, and then people go straight to it. It's like, well, hang on, what do you think?
Yeah.
But like my point is, it's like they're waiting for that excuse. Mm-hmm. They're waiting for that. Oh, it's been 6 weeks and I've not lost weight.
They don't want to take their own personal responsibility for it and their side of it. They'll blame the world, but not have a look inward at themselves.
And they're scared of failing, so it's easy to justify the failure by something else's fault. Because it's always you.
Yeah. It's you that puts it in.
You can go and train in a terrible place with a terrible program, and if you put effort in, you will do okay. Yeah. I've done that. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's how I've done it. Like, you can go to somewhere that isn't the best. Yeah. And you know what? You can find the strengths in it. Mm-hmm. If you look hard enough, you'll find the strengths in it, because there will be some. Mm-hmm. And you can potentially add to it and make it better. Yeah. But what people do is, again, they just blame the environment, they blame the coach, they blame the other people, they blame the partner, again, people just blame. Yeah. And they don't often take responsibility. Mm. But again, it's just effort. They don't even try because they're scared of failing. Yeah. It's fear, and it's how much fear.
Fear holds so many people back. Like me included, probably you at some point have been held back by your own fear.
All the time. Like every day. Like, I have to say to myself, my mantra is keep going. Yeah. Because I know what I need to do. Yeah. Because there's been times where I've hit social media pretty hard. Yeah. And then I've been quiet for a while. Yeah. There's times
you were like radio silent when you were quiet.
When I've done it before where I've deleted them. You know what I mean? Yeah. Because they do piss me off. But I see the benefit to them. Yeah. It helps people, it connects with people, I learn a lot from them. So but my point is, it's like you start making a bit of progress, you start making a bit of headway, and then the fear comes. Yeah. Straight away. Yeah. And the ego comes. Yeah. And you're hesitant of posting that video, you're hesitant of posting that post, you're hesitant of putting that story on, you're hesitant of messaging that person, or I've had this idea for something, but it means I need to ask this person something. Yeah. And I find myself dragging my heels. Yeah. But then if you keep doing it, it catches up to you. Yeah. And that's where anxiety and shit comes from.
Yeah, absolutely.
Some of it, you need to look at diet and stuff though as well. Just knowing what I know about you. Yeah. No, but I'm just saying
then that's one of my struggles that I've always had is I can train, but I'm fucking shit with my diet. I've always been. I think where I've got, and the same for everyone else, where you've got your particular strengths, you've also got your weaknesses as well. And I think that's also what makes us human is having a look at both of those and recognising where that is as well.
Yeah.
Because of the kind of coat.
Yeah. No, but again, I don't
really... Was that or coffee?
No, but who gives a shit? But my point is, though, stuff you have, sometimes it's like a lot of time nutrition deficiencies can manifest as anxiety. They can manifest as your brain not closing down. So recently I listened to a good podcast that was talking about folate and folic acid. Mm. I didn't realise that folic acid was totally synthetic. Mm. So they tell everyone to take it, including pregnant women. Yeah. Body doesn't really know what to do with it. Yeah. You need folate, which comes from food sources. Mm-hmm. But you have to get that. And if you get that, that makes a world of difference. Yeah. If you especially take like magnesium or something, you get really good sleep. Your brain just naturally it takes like a rev out of it,
Yeah.
of anxiety. That's what I've noticed, personally. With it. Yeah, it's just something I come across recently. And again, that's something I'm always learning. Like, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Because I would have recommended folic acid to people.
Yeah.
Because I got recommended off a doctor ages ago.
I've had to have folic acid when my levels were so low with my
But
folate.
the point is, folic acid won't bring it up.
Yeah.
It will actually make things worse. So you have to get folate.
Yes.
So that's like something like a good folate can be good. There's a few things you can do that can level you out a little bit.
Yeah.
Basically. And then on top of that, it's like I've said to you before, elimination diet. No, because you have problems, don't you, like autoimmune stuff and that. And it's
well, I've started, I've definitely noticed, one of my big things was dairy. I didn't realise how much my body couldn't tolerate it until I switched to oat milk. I switched to different sources. And I like oat milk.
It's not the... What I'm concerned about in the oat milk is the amount of veg oil in them.
Oh.
So start looking at your packaging.
Researching that a bit more.
Because would you drink a carton of veg oil?
Oh, God, no.
But then you look at oat milk and Oatly. Guess what? They are a huge...
Oh, I don't use Oatly anyway.
No, but there's some that... So what I did when I did my elimination is I switched to a lot of dairy-free, gluten-free, vegan shit.
I had noticed as well, like talking about allergies and diets. So I have an allergy to latex. And I've started to research that actually certain fruits that I come into contact, there's potential that I've got intolerances with them. One that me and my boyfriend have been looking at is cherries. So anytime I have anything with cherry in, I get a reaction, I get hives on my face. And it turns out that also is it can be in close approximation to latex, obviously plants.
What I would look at, another interesting bit is what pesticides are used on it.
Yeah.
So I know a girl who can't eat apples. Yeah. But she can eat her neighbours if he grows on his tree.
Because of the pesticides, yeah.
And we don't realise. So my point is, if I was to advise, I advise every single person, this is one bit of nutrition advice that I will give as a blanket and I will stand behind because my personal experience, my understanding is if you can avoid seed oils and veg oils at all costs, you will feel better. If you did 10 days, a fucking month without them, I guarantee inflammation levels will drop, you will feel better, and you will notice that some of the food intolerances you had weren't the foods. It was the fact that they were packed with these processed oils.
That can't process.
That we used to use for fucking machines. That is the origin of rapeseed oil. It's called rapeseed. It's raping you. Right. It's raping you of your health. It is. But again, it's healthy and it's fucking not. It's like, there's enough little bits of smoke now coming up in research. There's enough little things that are indicating that these things might not be great. And if you think about when everyone got fat and when slimming clubs came about and when everyone got autoimmune stuff, it was when these fucking oils got shoved down everyone's throat. Literally, there's a correlation. When everyone's mum's starting to go in Slimming World,
I still rip those up, when they come through the door.
Look, I always say the same thing. I get it. I get the community.
It works.
It
works for some people.
I know, but look like zombies, don't they? They're always dead. Their eyes are dead. The ones who make it, get Slimmer of the Year. Dead. Dead. But
once they get out, end up in a really
but you know what? Anyone who gets it, fair play. And you know what I mean? I don't want to hate on people, but I always put it.
For some people, it puts them on the path that they need to start on.
Okay. But if you're overweight and you want to not be overweight, why would you go to a club full of overweight people? And
That's always what I've never understood.
And it's usually run by overweight people. You need to go, somewhere. It's like me now. I needed to come here because it's full of people who are there's people training twice a day. Yeah. There's people who are driven. Yeah. There's, Terry's, again.
It's your tribe.
Yeah, it's people to feed off and have energy.
It's the reason I go to Sirens. It's my club we call of misfits.
You need that.
You need your people.
If you go to there, you are it's full of people who are going to starve themselves on the day of weighing and then go to Chippy with you straight after. Yeah. And then when you're feeling shit, they're going to fuel it because they don't want you to succeed because if you try harder, they have to try harder. And it's a negative feedback loop. And that's why so many people, what is the failure rate? Same with challenges. You mentioned like 6 and 8 week things before.
I just don't bother.
I get it. I get the principle behind them. I get the goal of them. I get all that.
For me, I just see them as a quick cash cow for people. Like,
that's what they are.
Yeah, because 9 times they're gonna do 3 weeks and stop, unless they're.
There's plenty of gyms around here who do it. They get hundreds of people sign up.
Yeah.
If it doesn't make it, they're happy.
Yeah.
Because they're the pictures for next time.
It's easy money.
And it's like, but the amount of people who sign up for a challenge and like you see them and you're like, mate, you need to go to the gym for a couple of years first.
Yeah.
You have no muscle.
Yeah.
So just do that first.
And a lot of those challenges, especially the ones that are plugged through social media, for me, they make me really angry because they're not promoting overall health. They're not promoting stability. They're not promoting like gentle progressive overload. It's all just like boom, 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 boom. Let's do the hardest stuff. That's gonna get you there, get you there, get you there. And it's like
what we don't value enough is consistency.
Yeah.
And the power of it, and also the people who champion it and the people who do it.
Yeah.
So if you go back through my social media, and if you certainly go back through my phones, you will see pictures for the last at least decade of me generally in pretty okay shape.
Yeah.
For years. And you'll also see me, indulging in food.
Yeah.
You'll see me enjoying myself. You'll see me I put steak butty on before.
So what I always enjoyed about you as a coach is you weren't like, you can't have that cake. You were like, oh, that's a birthday cake. It's your birthday.
Yeah, and don't get me wrong. Again, I've definitely become more. I'm a bit more disciplined at the minute.
Yeah.
But I feel like, again, I'm trying to develop an immigrant mentality. So I'm walking a lot and fasting a lot.
Yeah.
I want to be hungry. I want to be cold. I want to be wet. And there's a Mustang over there, and I stare at it in the rain. Just look at it, take pictures. I'm not a watch list.
You're in touch with your primal instincts.
I'm just watching it. I'm going to have that, and I want to be hungry. I want to be cold. I want to be tired.
Yeah.
I like it. But no, my point is, it's like, I'm like, you develop tools that allow you to facilitate that, right? And I just know that them things don't do that.
Yeah.
And if anything, from my understanding of the research and my understanding of what have I observed, is they actually make it harder.
They're trying to set you up for failure.
Well, so from a physical...
They want you to go back, don't
they? It's like there's a guy I follow, Lane Norton. I like some of the stuff he says, some of it annoys me. He's very evidence-based though. I've bought his books, cool guy. Accomplished guy himself in terms of lifting and training. And it's like his research and his book was talking about how, well, what happens is when you starve yourself, we see this in fighters, we see it when you cut weight, and this is where I learned it, the fat cells shrink and they divide. They actually can divide, which is in preparation for when food comes back. Because you are starving to death and the body wants to be ready to refuel if it can, as soon as it gets opportunity. And that's why bodybuilders will gain literally like 10 pounds of fat immediately, which shouldn't be possible, but they do because the body's like needs it. And that's an extreme example, but this happens in people too. So over time, they get more resistant to fat loss and they get better at getting fat. And that's why you are now seeing people who were evolved when we were evolved, and you'll see them, and they've done challenge after challenge after challenge, and they are still, if anything, they're probably bigger than when they started. Same as Slimming World, same as Weight Watchers. And you can argue with me, you can always go, oh, I know such a man who did it. There is always them. What about the other 90-odd%?
The thing is, the people that it does work for, what are they doing outside of that? Are they going to the gym more?
Well, usually.
Are they eating better? Yeah, and you look at them and you go, that very small percentage, yes, it works for them because they're doing everything
all the other stuff that we would tell you to do. It's just, if you just do, and I'm not saying there isn't people who kickstart it with that. There is. I'm not saying
there's a small percentage that needs that to get to where they
maybe. It's hard. And this is what I mean, there's no one size fit all. Some people need a bit of strength. I think there's a bit of a benefit to doing a month of strength. I do. I think it's good for you. I think it's let's say it's a stoic principle. Let's say it's that doing without. Because if you do a month of just meat and fruit, one, it can be really enjoyable. Because you're just exploring different meats, like you said, oh, I'll be a duck, you know what I mean? You can make it.
I'm not interested in trying that these days. I look at you and go, I might try that.
I'm in the best shape I've been in, and I'm closing in on 40. And I'm in the best shape I've been in. I'm leaner than ever. I'm lighter than I've been in years, and I can still pull a decent amount of weight. And I've not even fully rehabbed my knee yet. I'm moving better. Yeah, it's fucking great. It's anti-inflammatory. Like, eat it. But the point is, just doing that for a month.
Yeah.
Do you know how good, like, some rice tastes after that? You know, just making a curry. Yeah. It's like, oh my God. Like, it's amazing. And then just having a bit of ice cream or something.
Yeah.
But you know what I mean? It's not just about that, because there's other things you learn, and it's good for your body, it's good for your mind. But I'm not saying you have to do that extreme.
Yeah.
But yeah, I do agree with, like, certain periods of it. But again, it's very individual.
Yeah.
Some people that will fuck them up, and I've seen it. I've seen people develop eating disorders.
Yeah.
I've seen people who, you know, they come to the gym to get a bit fitter and stronger, and next thing they're in their underwear being spray tanned. You know what I mean? Yeah. And then a few months later, they don't look like that.
Yeah.
And they feel shit. Because that's the point, innit? It's like, okay, you've got all these before and after pictures. What about your 5-year ones?
Yeah.
What about your 10-year ones?
Yeah.
Because that's what matters.
It's going back to that ego and stuff, isn't it? Like, some people, and I get back, oh my God, I hit it again. Back to purpose and what their purpose in the gym is, what their purpose and their goals are.
Yeah.
Because I know for us, it's very much been about longevity of health and like, obviously the body being able to still function correctly when we're older. But when their ego, I think a lot of people join the gym or start a gym for the wrong reasons, the same reason they do slimming world, is they just want to lose that weight quick. Like, there's this thing that is coming up more and more about the on-demand culture, because Netflix on demand, YouTube on demand, everyone wants everything like that. And I think that slips into the fitness world as well. Everyone wants to lose 5 pounds immediately. They want to get that challenge should lose that much weight. And I think that's where you have to look at that ego again and be like, are they doing this for the right reasons, or do they want that longevity? Do they want that lifestyle change?
So something we cover, and we talk about a lot, is your extrinsic and intrinsic.
We've talked a lot, haven't we?
Yeah, so motivation, it's kind of like, is it coming internally, or is it? Are you doing it for other people?
Yeah.
So what's your goal? If
you're trying to look good because you want other people to look at you.
Do you want to?
Or does your body need it?
Yeah. Or do you want to set a good example for your family?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Did you want to set a good? Because I want my kids to look at me and be like, okay, there's a lot I can do here.
Yeah.
My dad's still going after it. My dad's still trying to educate himself. My dad's still trying to push. He's keeping himself in shape. And they see that as a valuable thing, as an important thing.
Yeah.
Because, again, you know, people make a lot of excuses. You hear people, I've had this, I've had that, or it's okay for you, it's okay for you. Do you not think I've had stuff happen over the last 10 years? Do you, like, I've been in shape now since I was about 16. Do you not think I've had stuff happen to me? Do you not think I've been through struggle? Do you not think I've had hard days? Do you not think I've had, like, you know what I mean? So much shit come my way. Like every other person in this world, right? You can keep...
We've all got baggage.
Yeah, you can keep saying that, and you can keep going, it's okay for them, it's okay for them. Or you can finally look in the mirror and go, yeah, I'm doing this.
Is that personal responsibility again?
Yeah, I'm doing this. Yeah. But then it's like, you have to find your fucking why. You have to go like...
purpose.
Yeah, you have to go... No, you don't necessarily purpose, but just, okay, I want to get in good shape because, well, I don't want to die.
Yeah.
You know, I'm 40. Yeah. I could legitimately have a heart attack at 50.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I don't want my kids to be forced to have to look after me because of my ill health.
Yeah.
I don't want to... Like I said, I don't want to set a bad example for them.
Yeah.
What example are we setting for them? You know, and we're seeing it now. How many overweight, unhealthy kids are there?
Yeah.
With bad posture.
It's scary.
It's like kids that you're like, if we had a war right now, we are fucked. We are fucked. Like this, like I sound like an old man, but look at the generation of the fittest examples in society are often like my age. You know? And we're getting on. Yeah. You know, we've got a lot of miles on the clock. We ain't got many wars in us. Like, you know what I mean? Like, whereas the younger generation, everyone's never done a push-up.
Yeah.
Which used to be a standard thing. Even for me as an overweight kid, we were always physically doing stuff.
Yeah.
And we were physically, you know, can you climb the tree? Can you climb the goalpost? Yeah. Everything was a physical measure. Mm-hmm. Could you do it?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That doesn't exist anymore. Mm-hmm. How many likes did you get on your post? You know what I mean? How curly's your hair? Like, I don't know what kids do.
As Lewis would say, they're TikToked out of their fucking minds.
I know, but we had stuff as well. There's always going to be a thing. But yeah, we need to set a good example, and and you need to make a culture within your own family. You need to make a culture in the people around you and
your
friends.
You need to surround yourself with the people.
And you have to try. Like, I'm trying to drag everyone around with me. But what I've learned is I have to at some point just go, fuck you. You know, not fuck you, but like if you catch up, fair play.
You've got to go. There's the little.
Like if you're really struggling, send the flare up. I'll come and get you.
Yeah.
But you need to make.
You got to let people make their own.
He's a dingy. Fucking see you in a bit. Like, you know, but you have to, and that's our responsibility.
Yeah.
But I think again, going back to the culture of like the quick fixes and stuff, is that's what I get really infuriated with gyms, is because we continually feed it.
Yeah.
And we're meant to be doing better.
Yeah.
The problem is so many coaches and so many gyms are tied into this is how we make income. This is how we get money. This is how we get.
It's us little people that sound fucking mental, being like, no, we're not going to do that. We're going to do it this way. We're going to go back to basics, fundamentals.
Oh, yeah.
We look like the boring PTs or the boring people when we're the ones that are breaking down the fundamental ways of the body moving.
Yeah.
And again, I always like to relate back to the aerial, and it's like I'm having to teach people how to realign their bodies, and quite often you've got to move your hips at the same time as you swing up, or your glutes need to fire as you're doing an upside down hang, and I have to teach people to reconnect with their primal bodies. Like you say, when we were running around, we were swinging off trees and doing all those things. I'm quite literally doing that for my job now. It's teaching people how to get that primal instinct.
No, there's a couple of points you've made today that I'll mull over for a few days, I think. No, just because. So I've said it in a post today, and I'll be saying it a lot because it's just my principles evolving.
Yeah.
It's just my philosophy evolving.
Yeah.
So I've always been like, well, how do we get closer to how we were? Because that's when we were best.
Yeah.
What foods are we eating? How are we moving?
Mm-hmm.
That's how man evolved. And the conclusion I've come to is like, basically, if you couldn't run, if you couldn't jump, if you couldn't throw shit, you were useless.
Yeah.
If you couldn't climb,
you'd have died out.
Yeah, you'd be dead.
Yeah.
Dead.
You wouldn't have reproduced and you would die. You'd be hungry.
We evolved because of all those skills.
Yeah.
Because we could throw things really fucking fast. We could kill big shit. Yeah. So we learned how to kill bigger shit.
Do you feel like, I always feel like we've always gone backwards?
Yeah.
Like really far backwards.
Yeah, well, it's like we'd all be dead. So basically, if there was a bad nuclear thing or a solar something that took us back to no technology, cannibalism within a month. Yeah. Most of us would be gone. The only people who'd survive sort of on these continents would be complete savages. Yeah. They'd be eating people. Yeah. And the ones around the world who are cut off from everyone, who are hunter-gatherers. Yeah. And they
were already doing it.
And what you'd find is the survivors of like here, the ones
civilized
we'd end up probably going to them.
Yeah.
And trying to teach them stuff. Yeah. And we survive with them. Because that's probably what happened in the past. Yeah. And that's what would happen again. Yeah. But yeah, it's kind of like, how do we get people back to
their roots?
Yeah, physically and like, you know, and it's like, again, it comes down to a lot of movement. It comes down to a lot of, but at the same time, it's not, okay, sitting's dead bad for you. I think too much, yes. Yeah. But people would rest, people would sit. Yeah. The problem is that even when we're sitting, we're tense.
Yeah. We're like constantly on guard, aren't we?
You know, like, And that's like, I had a guy come out of hospital a bit back, and I was just doing a bit of rehab with him, and he's lying in his bed, and he's like that, and I'm like, right, I want you to breathe, push your core in, push your core in, let your back relax.
And relax, yeah.
Oh, man. I was like, oh, shit. I'm like, no, do that a few more times. Yeah. And it's like, oh, my God, so I'd say, you're not even relaxed. Yeah. I make people lie on the bed and put their head in a pillow and go, let it sink. Yeah. What do you mean? Just let it sink. Yeah. And then they get it and they go, oh, their head starts moving. Yeah. And they didn't even know.
They're not holding it.
Yeah, they didn't even know they're like this. And I'm like, oh, just relax it, man.
It's funny because when some moves in aerial, especially beginners, it's different when they move up because they're more aware of their body. But the amount of times I have to say to someone, relax, take a big deep breath and just breathe, and they relax into the pose, because I find, especially in certain aerial poses, the more they tense, the more their body isn't engaging the muscles they want to. It's not balancing them in the correct way. And I find certain poses, they're locked in fine. Take that breath, they're more relaxed in it. They're more engaged. They're actually more engaged, being more relaxed, if that makes sense.
It's for movement to happen. Some stuff's got to relax, some stuff's got to contract. Yeah. So the way I teach people now is I'll be like, right, I need you to push your core in there, squeeze that. Okay, now relax. Yeah. Because if done that bit of contraction,
the body just
yeah. Oh, like
the body like sighs, doesn't it, a little bit?
Yeah, it's like breathing, and sometimes you get them fascinations.
Yeah.
So you get that shaking, and I'm like, no, you need to go into that.
Yeah.
Lean into it, breathe. That's the nervous system just going, what the fuck is happening? But that's you. I view it, and again, this is from a work I've done with Daniel. It's like I'm connecting these dots. Mm-hmm. It's like the brain's here, the foot's here, and everything's a mess. Yeah. And I'm finding these pathways. I'm remapping them. Mm-hmm. I'm reconnecting them. And then the body's going, whoa, whoa, what the...
Well, you got your parasympathetic and your sympathetic.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, and that's why usually when I do these things, people will get burping. People will get... no, but they do. They get, like, yawning. They get that,
normal bodily function happening.
It's weird. Like, I've had it where I did one day where I was doing, like, almost like a meditative sort of release. Yeah. I'm doing it and I was doing these relaxations and contractions. Again, it takes me a while to get there. And at one point, it was like something in my stomach just went. Like, I was like, what was that? But that's what you get sometimes. Yeah. And it's like, it's weird how. But if you look at the level of control, so we look at Bruce Lee, how he could control his body. We look at old school strongmen who could make every muscle dance. Yeah. Like, literally dance. Yeah. That people can wiggle their ears. There's like people can control the body in a much deeper way than they realise. Connecting
all of that nervous system back to.
And you can do that, and you can train yourself to. And I always say the same thing to people who've been in chronic pain, like I was. Yeah. You now have to become an expert in your own body. Yeah. Because that is your only ticket to freedom. Yeah. Because yes, I can do some stuff to relax you and ease you, but you need to become your own mechanic. Mm-hmm. You need to be able to service yourself.
Yeah. Do it out.
Essential skill. But you need to be able to. But you need to be able to fix yourself. You need to be able to problem solve yourself. You need to be able to, when you get that twist and you twinged it. Oh my God, is that my back again? Yeah. You need to be able to straight away put the computer in and go, hang on. No, that's just a little, I've moved fast. It's just a little twinge. Breathe a little bit, brace my core a little bit. Stretch that hip out a little bit. I'm just a bit tight there. That's all that is.
You're giving people that confidence for their ego to be able to do that themselves as well.
You have to. It's the only way forward.
That's why a lot of them won't do it because of that ego. Look, it doesn't want to feel
I could just treat people constantly, right?
Yeah.
There's money in it. It's
have a revolving door with that.
It's it's rewarding. You do help people you get people who've had back pain for like 7 years, and they get up and go, it's gone. And then you get messages a few days later, it's doing all right. Yeah, no, it's usually doing okay, but it usually bites back. And it takes time. Yeah. People have something for a year, come to you once, and be like, well, it's still hurting. It's like, sorry, I didn't fix it in 40 minutes.
40 years of pain.
And you're still not eating well, and you're still not doing all the things. Like this. And you're still training too much. You know what I mean? It's like, it's like there's a limit to it. But again, my point is, it's good, it's rewarding, I enjoy it. But it's just one piece of what I want to do. And because, again, I want to get folk. I want to empower people. I want to educate people. I want to teach people. I want to lead people. I want to lead people out of pain. That's what I want to do. I want to, and to do that, you can't just have one tool in your toolbox. No. You've got to have others. Yeah. You've got to, and each one complements each other. Yeah. Like right now, I'm at a point now where I am due. I need some work on my neck. I need some work on my traps. I need to get that tissue moving. I feel like I've done as much as I can do. Yeah. And I feel like there's something there now that I benefit from that bit of release. I feel like I've earned it. Well, sometimes it's necessary.
Rested a bit.
Sometimes you need first aid. Sometimes it's necessary. Yeah. But it's like, but again, that for me, that's all I want to do. I just want to educate and empower. Yeah. And that's why, like we were talking about before, I'm like, go wherever, because that's all education. Yeah. Like, I'm just a piece. I'm just a piece. Take what I am.
You're just a textbook in someone's research.
Yeah, and it's like, I use loads of different people. Yeah. Coaches, social media.
I love just getting information from all sorts. And you sort through it and you go, oh shit, I like that bit. Oh, what's that bit?
Yeah, that connects with me. I get that. And that's all it is. And you'll find then, but again, my contribution is, I'm getting all this stuff through Instagram. Yeah. So I've started taking to the point where whenever I don't do it all the time, but I try and be like, I try and go, thank you. Yeah. Mate, I really like how you put this together. Thank you. Because I'm saving that and using that as inspiration. Yeah. Maybe I'm trying that exercise. Yeah. I'm like, that rig up he's got for doing a certain thing that I was like, that'll help me with this. Mm-hmm. So I'm like, thank you. And then I try and put stuff out myself because, again, that's, for me, I'm a scientist. That's my job's to experiment. It's to research. It's to contribute. And it's also to, again, try shit. And then contribute my own stuff for people to try.
It's pointless if you learn it all and can't pass it on, doesn't it?
Also if you can't, like, deviate and apply your own understanding and, add to it. Again, that's our job. That's how science works. If you're in this industry, you're a scientist. That's what you're doing.
We're in the science of the moving body.
Art and science. And you can contribute to both of those things. Whatever your education level, you can contribute to all of that, and you can critique what's out there. Don't be afraid. If something doesn't make sense to you, that's fine.
I'm someone that's like, question everything unless you're proven wrong.
But also be open to the fact that you might be wrong. Be open to the fact that you might be wrong about certain.
Hold your hands up and go, do you know what? Yeah. I was wrong about that one.
Yeah, like, I definitely, like, CrossFit, I never really give it much credit. I was always like, it seems like you're not going to do that for very long.
Yeah.
And it seems to be a lot, and you focus on the negatives, you focus on the overtraining, you focus on blah, 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 blah. But then, when you spend some time observing it, you see...
Time.
Yeah, I'm going to say...
It's 8 o'clock, fucking hell.
But when you see the benefits. You see the benefits for people. You see the benefits of the community. You see the benefits of people pushing each other.
Yeah.
And you're just like, well, actually, no, it works really well. Okay, can I do something to help that?
Yeah.
Can I do something to help those people keep doing that? Because there's a lot of that that's really good.
Yeah.
Like, a lot of it. Like, well, loads of it. And it's definitely more rounded than a lot of others, like lifting sports.
Yeah.
So, okay. Maybe we just need to complement that. Maybe we need to bring some other things in. Maybe we need to, make a hybrid version of that stuff. You know what I mean? That's where I am. So that's, again, my purpose in here. I'll put a class on with the aim of just helping people be more equipped for that.
Yeah.
Okay?
Absolutely.
I think we'll leave it there.
Yeah.
Oh. Yeah, 2 hours that.
I think did I need to introduce myself because we never did that?
Nah. Well, I'll do it. Obviously,